Actually, should probably. Hey guys, how are you doing? MoKnowz and I are here to kind of discuss a few things: the DC drop, also what's going on Nike. How are you doing today, Mo?
Hey, what up, dude? B, I'm gonna need you to wake the fuck up. All right,
I gotta wake up.
you gotta wake up. I'm gonna slap you in the face. I gotta run through the camera or something. What's up, man? I know you get married and shit. You know what I'm saying? But come on, wake
I
up.
know.
You're on the
I
internet.
gotta get more excited about the
You're
drops.
pepping your step.
Yeah, I definitely have to do that. Did you already get the comic today for DC?
Yeah, I always try to get the lowest number possible.
Okay. Oh, so you did. So what did you end up getting?
I didn't reveal it. Yeah, I was gonna look at the DC wiki site.
Oh, cool. Just gonna pull up, just pulling up everything here. Sorry, guys. This is impromptu. There's probably nobody here anyways. So, all right, all looks good. All right. Do you want to share your screen, or you want
Yeah,
to
what
get
am I
it
doing?
all
Am I
up?
open? Yeah, am I looking at the comic? Am I revealing that?
Yeah. Let's go reveal the comic. Tell me when you have shared. I think it will pop up here, and then we can share it. It's just us anyway, so no rush. All right, you ready?
Can't do that. You got to stream like there's always 1,000 people, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
the
I'm
key.
sorry. There's
That's the
1,000
key.
people here. All right, here we go. Let's reveal. Oh, what did you don't even know what you have, right? You don't even know. All right, let's see.
No, I don't know. And what I do want to know though, because they were talking about this in the Jim Lee video. And again, I'm not a big comic guy, so I don't even know how true it is. But apparently, this is Gal Gadot.
Are you serious? Okay,
Like,
I gotta.
what? I guess one of the DC universes apparently is based on like the DCU. Apparently, so like in the comics, they're just going to use like people that have taken like an actual theatrical role in like a DC movie and use them. Like that is what I got from the Jim Lee video
Interesting.
where they were talking about the different the DC universes.
Now, okay, here's my question on that because what I've heard about the DC universe is that they're scrapping all. They're starting fresh, right? Black Adams was the last one. Now everything starts out fresh. They're redoing it all. They're kind of because it was too dark and people
Oh,
weren't
for
as
the movie.
interested. So you think they're going to still go back to the original actors right now?
But they were all sticking around except for I don't think Black Adam's leaving. I think Black Adam's just on the side for a while.
Okay,
I'm pretty
they're
sure
just
he
gonna
is. Pretty sure he
still.
is sticking with Black Adam.
Okay.
But as far as like they were originally supposed to do, Henry Cavill coming back or whatever, but they're gonna basically reboot, I guess, and go all the way back to like a younger Superman DCU era.
Try to make more
But I think
fresh.
in this, like for this comic release though, with this whole release they got going on, that's why I guess the bunny or like today's comic is the poodle is like
Right.
some animal DC universe where it's like every superhero is an animal. Like that's like DC, how it's like Earth 616, right?
Oh
On
yeah,
Marvel.
totally.
Yeah. So again, I don't know the numbers. I'm not too much of a comic guy like that, but whatever. Let's
see what you
reveal
got
what I
here. Let's
got.
see if you got zero will be number one, right? Isn't that how it works?
Correct.
All right, come on. Legendary number 0.
Epic number 1.
Oh, dang. Not
Shit.
bad.
I didn't
You're
want
not
to Gal
happy with
Gadot
that?
with a damn poodle though.
Are you gonna sell that right away? Or are you gonna
Yeah, I'll sell that.
What do you think you'll
That's,
get for it?
I don't know. Let's sell it quick enough. Maybe. Oh, I mean, it's 771. Well, there's 826 total. Pretty high mid count, I guess. That's the problem, right? Like, because if this had a marketplace where it showed mint number 1, I'm probably looking at like 100, 200 easy.
Right.
Well, let's say go into like Vault's community and start going into his Discord and typing it, being like, "Hey, anybody interested?" Cause I go into DC a lot, but I don't get too much there. But like if I had I wish I had a place I could just be like, "Hey, here's a bunch of people." Because I have so many like number 1s, number 2s, single digits.
See, that's the thing.
Doc Strange.
Because I definitely think I actually want to talk about this on Futters. Maybe we can do it sometimes. Like I'm really into the mint numbers. Like I suggest anyone who's flipping and doing all that not to go mint hunting. It's too risky. But Yeah, I think mints are very important. I don't care what project it is. And like you said, if they had it, out there for the public to see, I think that's important.
I mean, personally, I don't think mints are important. I would take the extra money and just get the same exact comic with a lower mint. I know people think the last mint's worth money too, right? So
Right, that's me.
I'll take a mint that's nobody wants. If you're like, hey, you got number one mint, I'll give you $1,000 and here's a copy of the same comic or whatever, same collectible. I would do it most of the time because unless there's some utility or something wrapped up into the mint, like let's say Cryptoids came out with their shit and it's like, hey, if you have single digit mint numbers, you're getting 50% bonus increase in like,
Sure, yeah, yeah.
XP or whatever. Like that's huge, man. Like, that could be something.
Yeah, but they
But if
do
it's
that on
just like,
Vivi. Vivi does that. You get like what, extra 0.5%, something
well, for
like
your
that.
points, yeah, but I still don't understand what
Yeah.
these points do. I don't want to turn this into Fudders Tuesday edition,
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, definitely not.
like, well, what are people really holding on to MCP points for on VV at this point? Nothing. If all these points would have happened and all the shitty drops would have come out, and then people had their points and their collectors and everything and whatever, the different collectible levels and, ticket raffles and waitlist, and they were dropping AF-15 and partner
Right.
statues and like everything now, that would make total sense to be like, holy shit, I want to get my level up. I want to get my points up. I want to have a
Totally.
shot to go for AF-15. But now it's like, what am I doing? I'm going to go buy everything at top price now to get points to buy what? Nothing.
Right. And then
Speculative.
you get
It's speculative.
screwed. Well, I mean, so my theory on mint, and I kind of think you're the same way. I mean, some people think it's important. You don't, and you'll profit off of it. Me too. I'll profit off of. And Big A, what's up? Yeah, I want to profit off of those last minutes, but I'll keep them. I don't care if I get left holding the bag on them. But I think they have a lot of mint. Here's the question I have. I think that the last mint is the best one to get because I have a feeling nobody's going to get mint number one. Rarely will they ever come on sale, but you could get the last mint. And I think the last mint, not as good as the first mint, but probably better than anything after mint two. That's my opinion. I think it's nice. It's, again, very last one to get. There are not as many people who want it, but I think it's important. What do you
A lot of
think?
people don't even know what the last mint number is at the time. Like, if there
Right.
was like a little badge that came up and had like, last mint available or something like on the collectible or on the comic itself, I mean, that would be insane. Again, like kind of telling people, this is the last one.
Right, right. Well, they
But
do on my videos. I try to tell everyone. Now it kind of screws me over sometimes, but
no, I know you
uh,
try to tell everybody, but I'm saying, but it's like, the people that don't watch the videos and the people that just browse in the market, grandma or Aunt Nancy who comes in,
right,
8 months down the road, they don't know that that's the last mint unless it's highlighted or something, or they do, maybe they open up the comic and they're like, oh, wow, there's 7,794 of these available. And then they remember that number while they're going through the market and they're like, ooh, 7794. I remember that one.
right.
How many people have an eidetic memory, or photographic memory, right? Like,
Yeah, totally.
not many people. So,
It's
you know,
hard to remember them all, but yeah. So, all right.
but
I
even
mean,
in your boat, like
yeah,
you buy mints because people will buy mints. I've never heard you be
right,
like, yo, I need to buy this mint because I'm a mint collector. Every time
right.
I hear you buy or anybody else buying mints, it's like, oh, I'm just buying it to flip it, buying it to flip it.
Pretty
It's like
much.
because
Pretty.
you're just playing the market. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that's why I don't really give a shit about mint numbers and all that stuff.
Well, like on
Um,
the red logo, the 777, I don't want to sell it. That is actually one that I want to keep. There aren't many things that like I've got to keep. I feel like that's a good one to keep. I've got another one to flip. So I'm hoping I can get some money for that. It's gonna be a little while, but as soon as they release utility, I have a feeling somebody's gonna want it, as long as I don't price it for like $100,000.
right, but you always come back to the same thing. I know somebody's gonna want it.
Yes, true,
Like,
true,
there's two
very
different type
true.
of people. Like, there's someone who's gonna like you that's gonna buy it to hold on to for profit down the road, and then
Right.
there's the other guy who wants to buy this to put up on some, NFT frame that they got coming out, or these new cubes that they released at the CES show, where it's like augmented reality cubes displaying your NFTs in like 3D. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit's
I,
crazy. But people want to
oh,
have that because they just
totally.
want to brag. The same reason why people buy brand new shoes and have like 19 pairs of sneakers when they walk around. Like, yo, man,
Right,
I paid like $379 for these, man. It was freaking steal, bro.
right.
Like people just like to brag. People like to freaking show off, and that's just human nature, man.
Buy it
But
and
you're
throw
not,
it up
as I'm
in
saying,
front of
like
a
I don't
million.
really put you in that category because you're the guy who's like, I know people are like that, and I'm gonna profit on them
Totally.
later. You know,
Yeah,
and
true.
that's
No, it's
that's
definitely
cool.
true.
That's the way it
I
should be.
definitely do. By the way, hey Majin, how are you doing? Yeah, I mean, yeah, most of the time I'm just want to flip, but there are a few things that I prefer not to. But I have a price. So absolutely. Okay, so let's get into this Nike swoosh. You were right. Tell everyone why you were right.
I mean, they can read. What does it say in the bottom left there?
Right.
Link account.
Right.
Ladies and
Absolutely.
gentlemen, you are witnessing my mind and how my beautiful mind and how it sees into the future because I've been doing this shit for so long.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, man, it's step one. Link account. It's gonna track progress. It's gonna be like, hey, we appreciate you guys even in logging into Fortnite,
Yeah, I'm
you
gonna
know,
pull
and
this up. Let's see what learn more is.
if only there was a way that, they can track how long you played a game or something, right? Like that would be crazy.
I mean, this is pretty cool. They actually have a video here. Are we allowed to watch this or are we gonna get C blocked on this? What do you think? Probably not.
If it was my channel, I'd say YOLO, but it's on you, brother.
Yeah, no, I won't play it, but everyone. So let's see here, because I've got it on the wrong screen to read it. So let me pull it over here. Uh all right. Calling all sneakerheads in an improbable floating city. Airy has thwarted maxed out Max. This is all just game crap. I just want to know what I can get. You'll receive Air Max 186 back bling just for your help. All right, so it's just regular Fortnite stuff where you can earn the bling. Let's see. Anything about like what we already
Well,
have?
right now, yeah.
I
I
want
mean, but
them to be like
it's very, very easy for them. Again, this isn't VV dealing with Disney and Marvel. They don't have to announce this shit ahead of time. Like
true.
they're not they're not just gonna mess around with this to give people Fortnite back blings. Trust me.
Well, here they're giving all this stuff to get 10 minutes to get this Air Max 1. Now I wonder though, do you get that and can you throw it back into your Swoosh account? Like, do you own it? Is this something you get the 3D, you know, uh, you know, uh, file and you can make the game? Like you could make your games and add that shoe. That would be cool. Here you go. I think you can. You know how to do all this stuff.
Well, no, that's just for the map settings on Fortnite itself. Because a lot of times, like, so for instance, when I make maps, I ran into this recently when I started doing my SOCOM maps again. I
Right.
have a lot of people that play on console, and even if they're on PS5, it uses a different rendering package for console for lighting and shading and stuff like that.
Right.
So what happened was I did my jungle map, and it was like a flickering, seizure-inducing nightmare on console because of like one of those illumination settings that they're talking about. Like it's something so simple where it just the hardware handles it completely different. Um, I mean, yeah, while we're here, I know nobody really does the DC drops, and I wouldn't even mind doing DC drops all the time because I would probably mix them in with horse racing anyway.
Right.
Uh,
Totally.
but to answer Doc's question, so confused on DC drops. Got a Wonder Woman. I'm guessing the drop is live. Is it only for flash holders if we buy 2 or more? Today you had to have the common flash that dropped on Thursday.
Right.
I don't know if you want to pull up that Jim Lee thing. I know Vault's computer almost exploded trying to do that.
Where is that?
Best place, go to Discord and pull it up in the DC announcements.
Oh,
There
and
was a
just
video in there.
Discord. Okay, hold on one second.
But I think he was trying to pull up that video because in there it tells you the dates. And this is why I know people can't read. Between the Paul Barron shit, this, and there's so many other things. And I'm not talking about you, Doc, because you just don't know. I'm talking about the people that actually have focused on this shit and they're still like talking out their ass. Thursday is for the people holding the uncommon, and then we'll get the rest of the dates. And I think it's like a 2 or 3 day window in between each drop.
Is this in the announcements or
Either announcements or minor announcements on Discord.
all right? Still trying to find it because I never look at this stuff.
You could probably even find I can
Here's
link, I'll
DC
link it to you.
Universe. Okay.
I'm just gonna like it's a tweet inside of the.
Here, let me go. If you have it, just link it to me.
Oh, come on, Discord. I'm trying.
That's all right. Take your time.
Try, man. Took me to the damn.
You're trying. Plus, you're dealing with me. It's all new. All right.
Oh, no, you're fine. No,
yeah, fine. No, I'm excited about tomorrow, though. If I can
there's a Discord issue.
Thursday.
Yeah, I guess I'm excited for Thursday. I want to see the covers. I just sent you the link.
Yep, got it. All right, will this come on? Let me see here. Let me go on to. Hold on 1 second here. All right, let me get this over here. All right. Is this going to dox me here? All right, hold on a second. Let me get this full view. Does that work? That does not work. Awesome. Fudge. I guess I don't have it on there. Give me just a second. Go talk to everyone. So wait, tomorrow on the we get two Supermans, correct? You only need one comic.
Yeah, one common will unlock, or one comic of the uncommon will unlock 2 purchases of the Superman, but you're only maxed out at 2 per account anyway, so there's no point having multiple uncommons to go for 4 or 6 or whatever. So
which is what I did. I totally screwed that up. But oh, come on. There we go.
He said Vault said editions were high. Confused though, so to stop after the drop is closed, but that would be the edition size. Like they made enough so we get 2. What if we get 1 extra? Yeah, well, the edition size is based on how many were minted, I think, from the flash drop, though.
Right. Well, I bought 2, and I was like, "Fuck! Why did I do that?" I thought maybe I could sell. I could sell one.
All right, I mean, we all kind of screwed ourselves. I mean, I bought 3. Had I only bought 1, would have been my uncommon I needed anyway.
Right.
My first one was the uncommon, and the other 2 were the uncommon.
I got 2 commons. I got totally screwed.
Yeah, I got the uncommon first, and I got a common and a rare.
And they're worthless.
So if I'd only bought 1, I would have got the uncommon, and I got uncommon number 1. Well, it's mint 1, but it's actually the second mint, so whatever.
All right, let's play this real quick. We'll see what he says. Tell me if you can hear it.
The Flash has shattered the multiverse of DC collectible comics. Through the month of June, all DC3 drops will come from other Earths and timelines. Mint a copy of The Flash, Fastest Man Alive, number 1, on June 15th, and it becomes the key to your next destination in the multiverse, based on the original era that was received. The present-day comic unlocks access to the next drop on June 20th. The Golden Age opens the door to the drops on June 22nd. The Silver Age, June 27th. The Bronze Age, June 29th. Ending with the Modern Age on July 6th. We're celebrating the release of the Flash film with one of our biggest releases so far, with all new DC3 exclusive covers, each based on a different Earth in the DC multiverse. Common covers come from the theatrical world of DCU. Uncommon covers
world of DCU.
Show off the villainous Earth 3.
Yep.
Rare covers fly to us from Earth 23. Epic covers show up from the home of Injustice.
Everyone in fucking
Earth
Vault
49.
It kind of looks like Gallagher,
Legendary
but no,
covers
it's not.
explode into our universe from Earth 26.
I'm
You can
an idiot
purchase
on the
up to
internet.
5 comics during the 48-hour Flash Fastest Man Alive number 1 drop. If you don't get your desired era, pick up another
And Doc is
Flash
right. Yeah, whatever
Fastest
doesn't
Man
get
Alive
minted will
number
get
1
burned. So
from the secondary market
could be
for
lower.
another chance to unlock the doors to the multiverse. Don't miss a chance to be part of this time and reality-breaking event. 6 comics, 30 covers, infinite possibilities. It all starts June 15th, only at nft.dcuniverse.com.
Cool. Yeah, you know what I wish they would do is start having the here, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen for a second. If they would start having them signed comics, could you imagine if they had just a couple digitally signed comics? I know that doesn't really mean too much, but
I mean, HRO already has it pretty much lined up to go. Yeah, I mean, if you could just have cards where you're like, hey, I own this card, you meet the artist of that card, and they have some,
that would be awesome
way to do it at the event, where you basically meet up with that person. I don't know, they take your Like you scan your phone with theirs or something, and it like burns yours and unlocks a new signed copy or something. You know?
Dude, I mean, there's so much stuff that they can do. And I hope they take advantage of it. It's just nobody, they talked about on VV about getting stuff signed and all of that stuff, and it's just never happened. I do like the idea if they'd have some type of, like with VV, have some type of physical and digital item. Like, I don't know why they don't do that. See, you don't get, but see, people would buy the shirt, for instance. Maybe you buy the shirt and
I'm
you
not
get a
talking about
VV
shirts.
logo.
Shirts are fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you bought a shirt and got a VV logo, maybe you would do it. Maybe they only have 1,000 shirts, so they sell them for $25, $30 shipped, whatever. You get the logo, they win, maybe you win. I don't know. But you get the shirt, and I'm sure a lot of people would like that shirt.
Yeah, I just don't want to see like a phygital crossover where like people be like, oh, I'm selling the NFT, but I also have the physical, and if you don't have the physical, your value is gonna go down 50% because that's how I don't want to collect physical shit, man. Like I started getting into this because I don't want to when I move and I
don't
go
want to be a
places, I
hoarder.
don't want to bring shit with me. I am tired, man. Like I lost probably like 50 grand worth of my childhood, shit that I collected growing up over the years because it was physical. It was physical, and I moved away, and my uncle freaking screwed me over and
you
tossed everything to the curb.
Ugh,
you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, shit, dude, this wouldn't happen in NFT world because he's not throwing away my wallet. My wallet's coming with me to California. My wallet's coming with me to Florida. My wallet, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
He can't screw with it totally.
Can't screw with it.
What do you say?
I mean, I wish my stuff would have got stolen. I mean, like I said, my piece of shit uncle just tossed it to the curb.
What you were telling me? What was the coolest thing that you had in there? Not to make you feel too bad, but
so growing up, my dad was crazy with like the Nintendo rewiring stuff, and he would take controllers, rip them apart. And one of his favorite things to do was rip apart the Nintendo Power Pad running controllers.
You're right.
And he would take the wires and use the sensors and create all sorts of things, like put it behind a couch cushion attached to a recliner where we swing a wiffle ball bat in the living room to play baseball games.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Basically inventing the Wii. Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, nobody probably even cares, but, my family will tell you to this day, like, the patent, and I've had a lawyer look at this, the patent for the Power Pad was filed in, like, 83.
Right.
And my dad invented this shit in 78 on the Atari with Decathlon by basically just ripping apart Atari controllers, slapping it underneath a piece of carpet at my grandmother's house, and him and my uncle would be huffing, what's it called? CO2 cartridges. What the fuck was it called? You know what I'm talking about, right?
The track.
Not nitrous?
Yes.
What was that people used to do to get messed up back in the day? I used to crack those
nuts,
those nitrous things, and like freaking suck them in like air and get those helicopter brains or whatever. They'd be sitting there getting lit. And my dad, like I said, was crazy. He was a genius, man. Like I said, he invented this like 78. Everyone will tell you, and they're sitting down there, and then like, so basically his whole thing was just buying controllers and ripping them apart. But anyway, we used to go to, well, back then it was Funkoland, before it was even GameStop, and then it was like Kitty City and Kid City and all these weird little toy stores, right? But they were selling Power Pads for like $10. I remember this. And he would go and he'd buy them over and over and over again just to have the hardware to rip out the wires. But what it led to was it came with a game that was a alternative track and field game, not the one that came with the original Power Pad, not the international track and field. But anyway, if you hold this game sealed in a box, it's like $10,000 on the NES.
Oh, man.
And my pops had like 10 of them at one point. I don't know how many were in storage. I want to say there had to be at least 3 to 5 of them in there. And like I said, that sealed track and field game is worth upwards of like 10 G's. And everything he had was in pristine condition. So it's not like it was dented boxes, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and you probably could have sent that to auction. And if you had 3 people that wanted it, it could have skyrocketed.
Yep. Whippets. Thank you, Doc. I never really did them.
Yeah.
I know everybody in my neighborhood used to do whippets. But my dad and my uncle were like cracking whippets. Like I said, doing decathlon runs at like 3 a.m. He had like a third button that they'd hold in their hand, like a detonator button, and that's what they would use to jump, like in the long jump. Oh, dude.
That's awesome. He really had it down. Yeah, guys, if any kids are listening, don't do whippets. It's really bad.
Yeah, don't do whippets. Don't do drugs. Stay in school, all that stuff.
Actually,
Don't listen to skeletons and random ass people on the internet.
right. We have no clue what we're talking about in a video game, right? I think we're safe now. Yeah,
It's
that's
just super
really
innovative.
cool.
That's why I love seeing this shit that we're seeing today, man. Because I want to see how, like, I want to see how VB is going to innovate the space. You know, you see Cryptoys wanting to innovate. You know, and the conversation with Kay last night, by the way, was
It's
really
great.
good. You know, especially with his software background and kind of filling us in a little bit behind the scenes of like, hey, I filled these guys in on this is how it's done, and you know, this is how people are doing it. They took it, they worked it into the pipeline. It wasn't 6 months, it wasn't a year, and they turned it into a working prototype. Like that's how you do
It was
shit.
smart. Yeah, and it was
Like
he had
that's
some
how you
great
get
ideas.
shit done.
Yeah, I mean the fact
Well,
that
great
you know, take
ideas, is
some
what I'm
of
saying, but the fact
yeah.
that they even took it and spun it around so quickly, you know what I'm saying, without like, I don't know.
Will's a smart guy, because if you had minted the 5 minutes on the Star Wars, he sent you, it wasn't like personalized email, but he did say, this is my email, contact me. Like, and that was for everyone who purchased 5. So not just content creators. I know we've talked to him on the site ourselves, but just that. So he's willing to listen, which is great. If he's going to listen to the community, which I feel like Vivi only picks and chooses, obviously they can't listen to everything that we want, but he's really open. And yeah, it's early. It's not even that early in the project for them. It's just becoming more popular now, but he's still allowing access to him. You know, in 2 years when this is really popular, it's going to be hard to contact him. But for now, it's great to have somebody who's willing to listen to us, you know, take our ideas.
Yeah, and I've seen people say it, you know, again, the whole VV versus Cryptoid thing, for whatever reason, is even a thing sometimes, but you know, I just personally look at Cryptoys. I don't look at them even as a competitor. Like we're controlling our toys, we're playing with our toys, we're gonna display our toys.
Right.
And unless the VVverse is something I just don't understand yet, you're just gonna be walking around looking at it like a museum. You know, at least in the early iteration of it, which means if we get the VVverse by 2024, maybe we'll get mini games and scripting by like 2025, 2026.
Right. Maybe.
You know,
that's, yeah, they really, like I even said last night, why don't they just put out a little something, a little teaser? I mean, that's what, you know, Cryptoys is doing. I think that's what everyone should do. It's been so many years. How hard would it be for them to just give us a little teaser of what we could do? A little racetrack, maybe just allow us to have 2 or 3 cars and we can race them. That's all they have to do.
What's a rock and a hard place though?
Is it
like you either show nothing like VV does and you get ripped apart because you've taken so long and showed absolutely nothing, or what they did show was an absolute train wreck. And I love the fact that Kay wouldn't answer if he would have been embarrassed. If he would have released that last night.
Right, because he would have been.
Because I know he would have been. Anybody who programs for more than an hour of their life would be embarrassed to release that in a public setting. Like I said, especially when it comes to like, and again, I learned this the hard way. People be like, "Oh yeah, MoKnowz knows what the hell he's talking about." Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I create 3D assets. I model 3D assets. I import them into Unreal Engine. I create, you know, all sorts of animations and loops and everything from my games I'm working on. But guess where I struggle? Network replication. Okay? When you send out a movement in a video game, it needs to be replicated on a network in a timely fashion. And the problem with Unreal Engine is that most people come in, they use a pre-made, you know, universe or a pre-made package that has horrible networking coding, and they don't know how to fix it. They just don't know how to clean it. So that's exactly what VV was running into, where they're coming in and they're like, hey, we got all this going on, but man, the amount of packets that were being dropped in that VVverse demonstration was disgusting. Like, he's like, oh, there's so-and-so, and it's like they're like a jittery, flickery mess floating in the air above.
Yeah,
you know,
it's ridiculous. And
whoever it was, right?
Anyone could do. It wasn't anything special. I just don't see why they can't do it. I just put up there, hey, Troy. Hey, Troy, how are you doing? Problem with Cryptoys is the same problem I have with Mighties. I prefer real life. Mo and I have talked about it. Mo said it. I have a friend who said it. If they could have the original Kenner toys, for instance, and it was in a box, you maybe buy 2, you can leave one in the box, and you can actually take it out and put it on a Millennium Falcon or move it around. So it has the little holes in the feet, so you can like stick it in or onto the object. That would be cool. And I know you really would like that if you could do that, right, Mo, with the especially with the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, I mean, any action figures, like I said, give us the ability to pose them, create our own battle scenes. I mean, Vivi wants to, just bend us over for, whatever it was. Weren't the battle statues like $120?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and
Aren't
the
they?
Flash
Right?
and Superman was 120.
Yeah. That I
I
actually
don't
still
get
want to pick up because I think that's a sleeper still. I don't know what it's down to now. It was like $30, I think, last time I looked.
Yeah, 35, 40, something like that.
Yeah,
It was 30, 40. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's actually a steal for that. But, you know, I don't know, man. It's just it's hard. It's hard to judge because I feel like I don't want to get on a game and look at collectibles. I want to get on a game and I want to do like, and my girl said the same thing. Like she just wants to do lightsaber battles for
Right.
Cryptoid points or whatever the hell they're gonna do for like mini games. Like, like imagine. I hate doing this. I hate doing it because it's such bullshit. Imagine a world. Close your eyes and imagine, right? Like,
Right.
but just put yourself in a situation where, you can get up, kind of like I used to do at the arcade with Mortal Kombat 2, because I was unbeatable at Mortal Kombat 2 on the arcade game, right? I would go there with 1/4 and I'd be there for 6 hours and nobody could beat me.
Right.
Like, but imagine being able to get up like on American Gladiators lightsaber duel pedestal against another player, and it's just people are stepping up, lining up at the carnival, one after another, trying to take out the champ. Every time you knock them out, you're getting your little Cryptoids points. If they take you out, they knock the king off, right? They might get a bonus for knocking you out based on how many wins you have in a row. Now they're the champ. Now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't even need to create a gameplay loop. You just create some sort of, environment where people can interact with each other, and you can have, you can do stuff like that.
And that's the thing. I think most people want to be able to interact with other people. It just has to be a little bit different than what we already have. And I agree with Dr. Strange, man. That I remember that Boba Fett with that rocket, and then so many cool things. And I think there were like 28 in the original. Maybe I'm completely wrong. There weren't that many in the original release. But if they had that, see, here's my idea. We'll see if the chat likes it. And I know a guy who's doing this, and I've talked to you about this, Mo. If they could take the original set and get them 9.8s or 10, get a full set, then attach an NFT to it and only sell a few, not only will you own the NFT, you'll actually have an NFA, a non-fungible asset. So now you actually own part of a real collection plus the toy. I think that would be cool. Of course, it could be expensive. I don't know how much this go for in perfect condition, but I'm sure it's not cheap. But it would be a way, I think that would be fun. You get both an NFT and you have ownership in this collection. To me, that sounds like fun. I don't know what that other people think,
but that's the beauty of it. There's so many different ways that, you can collect. I kind of look at it like photo finish. You can come into photo finish and you can own horses. You can come to photo finish and you can just bet on horses. You can come to photo finish and take some track ownership. You can come in and just buy a horse to breed it. Like you don't have to come in and you don't have to put yourself in a box of how you want to, play the game, or, in this case, maybe approach a platform. I think that there should be tons of different avenues for people to play games, earn coin, or whatever type of situation they want to create. I don't know. I think perfect scenario for me would be like, give us the toys, let me collect my G.I. Joe collection, and then I want to be able to create like the old Metal Gear Solid game, the online one that came out. I don't know if you ever played it.
Oh yeah.
But you basically set up the defense of your base, and when you were offline, your base could be raided. Right. So imagine like a G.I. Joe game where I can just choose like once every hour or two to like, raid your base. And now I'm going up against your NFTs that you own and you set up in a, specific, methodical way to like, try to protect your base. And the whole point is like, I'm trying to get into your vault or whatever to, steal your cube or your Grail cube or something. Again, they can, integrate Cryptoids into the world too. But that's how that's the type of stuff I want to see. Like, if I have 10 NFTs, I can create, the sickest, ninja, battleground that you've ever seen, and good luck getting through it. Like that's
right. But that could be
like Clash of Clans does it too. Exactly, Doc. Exactly.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be kind of Clash of Clans? Absolutely. And they talked about how you could just leave your toys and they'll do their thing in the mini game or whatever and earn you points and stuff like that. So that'd be really cool. But how difficult would that be to actually produce something like
So
that?
easy.
Is it
So easy. Dude, it's laughable, especially for stuff like that where it's all automated.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Metal Gear Solid, you actually controlled the character. You know, there was some things. So when it comes to like gameplay, there'd be probably some roadblocks and some hurdles to get over from like a game dev perspective.
Right.
But if I was like working with Cryptoys and I was like a game developer with access to their SDK and stuff, can't really see it being that difficult, man. Because like I said, you're just writing basic code at that point.
Right.
Yeah, you're not doing anything crazy. So
I guess the only thing you have to do is get the owners of the IP to agree to it. I wonder if they've actually set out everything they're already doing or if this is evolving. Like, did Disney say, did they make a deal where it's like, okay, maybe we'll let you make a game, or do you think they already have it decided and just haven't built it yet?
Well, they've already said they're going to have the experience, the exclusive Star Wars experience. So they've already had that discussion with, LucasArts and Disney or whatever.
Right.
I would assume if they weren't going to do some sort of interactive gaming stuff, they wouldn't have gone to Cryptoys because they would have had the same shit they already had on Vivi.
Right.
Except they look like Marble Mighties. Right. So,
right.
Because again, I mean, I agree with Troy on that. I mean, I've never bought a single Mighty. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have like the Ghost Spider. I have
probably a good one to have.
I have a few from that collection. What was the one? The Spider Woman.
Yep.
Because I mean, I kind of want to talk about this on Fudders too. I think I kind of mentioned it briefly, but I hate going on my boomerang sometimes. I think a lot of people are going to be really surprised down the road when they go to sell off all these collectibles and everybody that would have bought them for a premium is dead.
Right.
Like anybody who knows who the hell these people are dead. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying like America Chavez, Ghost Spider, Miles Morales. I mean, that's the one that makes the most sense. I mean, first of all, it's probably the coolest NFT on Vivi, honestly. Like, I don't think there was ever a drop that I wanted to smash my phone more on, besides Amazing Fantasy 15,
right,
than the Miles Morales. Like that, not only was it, it was going to be highly sought after.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a modern, African-American Spider-Man. I mean, they're pushing the narrative of, getting everything away from, like, white culture and shit. Like, everything has to be a different color now. Everything has to be gay and lesbian. And, like, I have no problem with it. Like, if that's the way this world's going to go, then that's fine. Sure. But I also know it's going to be highly collectible, right? So,
absolutely.
When you start going down that road, who the hell is even going to want Peter Parker? Because he's 3-4 generations down the pipeline, it'd be like, Peter who?
No, you're
Peter
right.
Piper,
like, I see that, my dad
like,
has... Yeah, nobody cares. My dad has a huge collection of trains. I mean, and they're worth a ton of money. But if he doesn't get rid of them now, who's going to want them? I don't want them. There's nobody collecting them. There's a few people. But it's the same thing with this. You're right. In 200 years, nobody's even going to know these people. So, yeah, now you're depressing me. But you're just a skeleton. You can get away with it.
Yeah, I'm easily depressed anyway. Look at me. Plus, as the days go by and I look at my photo finish funds, I'm like, now I'm really depressed because, man, I was on a heater, and now, whew.
Yeah, you said that. You said you were having here. Pull up your background. I'm going to make it just you and me so we can see your photo finish live. Is that easy? You can pull that up.
Pull up my background?
Yeah, pull up your background so we can talk about it. If you're going to talk about it, let's get the background going.
Oh, yeah. You mean my
Yeah, your photo finish. There you go.
Oh wait, no, that's not photo finish.
Nope.
Wait,
Cryptoys.
We're in Cryptoy land. What happened? No.
I like the Christmas one you had up. Was it yesterday?
Oh, that's why everything's gone. Yeah, that's right, because I had Christmas. Yeah,
there we go. Oh, dude, that's a really cool scene you got there. And you know what I love? I love you got the polar bear Coca-Cola polar bear.
Damn right.
The one that got all of us right in the butt. At least you and me.
I told you the other day, man, I put off paying my car insurance. I still like I look back at this and I'm like, what in the actual was I thinking?
Yeah.
Like I delayed my car insurance to grab that for $180, thinking it was gonna keep going up. I was like, yo, but and again, that's why I don't really fault people for when they buy things, because if you're buying it to flip it, obviously that was a bad purchase, right?
Right.
But now it gives me the option to, dollar cost average. Now I own two. I think I'm gonna pick up like probably 3 or 4 more. So instead of paying $180 for one, now I paid probably $203 for 3 or 4. Like I'm really not too mad about that, I guess. But
yeah, it's not too bad. The thing that kind of sucks is I really thought, and it was a test, I really thought they would do well during Christmas, right? Things go up and down, seasons and stuff, and I thought that was a cool Christmas type of thing. And yeah, it didn't do anything.
Well, this Christmas is going to do nothing. Because like I said, the only way to experience these holiday, accessories that we have is to do what I did. Actually, I don't even know if we did it this year because my seasonal crap that I deal with. Me and my girl normally go out to look at Christmas lights. It's a lot of places on Long Island go crazy, and there's like all these, insane places to go and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I got the polar bear snow globe. I'll put her inside, put me and her inside the snow globe in front of like one of these crazy houses, make some, nice pictures and videos, right?
Totally.
But if you want to experience everything with VV right now, you have to look at it through your phone.
Right.
Until we untether from the phone as being the way to experience this, and that's going to come in all different ways and fashions. It's going to come through the AR lenses and the glasses. It's going to come through your car because your windshield is going to have AR built into it. So it's basically just going to act as the lenses without you wearing anything on your face. You're also going to be able to have screens and almost like these cloth type tents that hang up in your room and your living room, where basically it'll be a see-through, like a sheen sheet around your viewing area, where I don't know if you ever saw that thing with Disney Plus, where like your scene is pouring out of the TV.
No, I haven't. So it's like a hologram type thing.
Yeah, it's almost like a hologram.
Yeah.
Exactly. I always tell people it's like Back to the Future, where Marty got Jaws coming out of him from the marquee at the matinee.
Right.
He's like walking by and it scares the crap out of him. That's the world we're heading to. Like 100%. Nike's already been doing it with those AR billboards. Without the AR technology, they look insane. So the closer we move to that is going to be, you're just going to wake up one day on Christmas morning and your AR simulation in your room is going to know it's Christmas morning, and it's just automatically going to populate with the polar bear snow globes and the Coca-Cola trucks outside your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to need to hold up your phone and actually do anything to interact with this and experience this, right?
Yeah, the phone is a freaking pain in the butt. But why don't they just have, and I know they have them, my friend who wanted the original Star Wars toys, I said, what if you could put it in a little like TV or a little display,
they have that.
And they do, and it just flashes through each theme that you have. A lot of people just want that, and it just scrolls through like family pictures. It scrolls through your collection.
Well, that's a frame.
Yeah,
you have a digital frame.
Right, a frame.
They have a digital frame with NFT integration. I think Vivi even tossed around the idea with like showing pictures of their frames at like one of the cons, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, but at the CES show in Vegas, I always watch the wrap-up shows from our good buddy, as a matter of fact, Paul Barron. And I would really love to have him on our show because, like I said, he's one of my favorite people in the space, and I'll never say a bad word about him because, his data is his data. I know he researches his data. Him and his team, research the data. But I respect the hell out of that whole. Kyle's part of it too. He's got more than just Kyle. He's got the other guy, Ben, I think his name is. But the point is, like, there's so many ways, and I always watch these CES wrap-up shows.
Right.
And like I said, man, these 3D augmented reality cubes that are basically just gonna like a trophy. Like a trophy in your house. You're gonna walk in and you're gonna be able to walk around it, and inside of this glass box is gonna be some augmented reality display of whatever you want it to be. It might be cycling through NFTs, it might, be one NFT or whatever, however they set it up. I'm telling you, man,
the future is going to be
what people
really
don't
good.
realize.
Well, I think, I don't know if we talked about on Futters or you and I just talked on the side. I mean, I remember probably 23 years ago at the casino, I'd play Wheel of Fortune, and one day I showed up and they had Wheel of Fortune and had a little screen underneath. And it was like 3D. I guess it probably had multiple screens, but it looked like it was coming right at you. It was 3D and it looked great. And we're talking 23 years ago. So, I mean, that should be easy stuff these days, especially with our collectibles. Like,
Well,
that
back
would
then
be,
they used, they probably used the same technology that I think it was Lincoln.
Okay.
Lincoln used it a lot. 'Cause my uncle had the old Mafia guy, had the old Lincoln Continental, right? The town car shit. So,
oh yeah,
I was always blown away because, like, especially back then, I mean, it was so like ahead of its time with the bells and whistles, right?
Oh, it definitely had.
It always had that really cool like speedometer overlay thing, odometer, like that was reflected into the windshield itself, and again, almost kind of had like that 3D, like you're talking about. And it was just created with like mirrors and some lighting, and like it's crazy, man. I mean, the old saying, right? Smoke and mirrors. Like, there's so much.
Right. Hey, if you're teasing our mind and it works, great. It looks good. Yeah, I love that heads-up display. Shelby Cobra has a Palisade. It's got that heads-up display. Very nice. Very convenient.
Did you see that Audi demonstration? With the AR windshield. That's why I was bringing it up earlier. Incredible, man. Like, it's just, I mean, and you still have to wear glasses actually, but they said down the road it'll be tied into the windshield. Like, you won't even have to, wear the glasses. But that opens up a whole nother discussion, honestly, because
totally
the same reason I'll never let a car drive me around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think it was Mercedes a few years ago. They released like a prototype vehicle of like a self-driving car, and it was an SUV, and it had nobody in the driver's seat. It didn't even have a driver's seat. It just had the front, and then it had like a meeting table with like a bunch of business executives having a meeting. Nobody at the front of the car, and they're all just like, "Yeah, this is the future of morning travel, morning commute. Like, have your business meeting." Like while you're on your way to the office, if they're like, yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I'm gonna keep my hands on the wheel. And I really hate to say it because I think it's already kind of happened with some of these AI-driven cars kind of going crazy. Like,
they have.
I just hope that the first really catastrophic event that happens from it, I just hope it's not like so severe that like we can't come back from it type of shit.
Well, I mean Tesla's already had they got in trouble because a lot of their cars are getting these accidents because people don't realize it's not really supposed to be just take your hands off the wheel and let it go. It's like grab your drink and then put your hand back on the steering wheel. And people just don't, on the Hyundai, you have to keep your hand on the wheel. If you take your hand off the wheel, it'll start to shake. And it won't do the driving for you. It will do a little bit of driving for you, but you always have to be aware of what's going on. People, you can't
trust. It does like auto correction type stuff, pull you out the lane, maybe detects an oncoming crash or something, Oh, Hulk one not waitlist.
Yeah, I was figuring it wouldn't be. We're still not gonna be able to get it. Maybe we can get one.
I'm gonna go for it because obviously I love
10,000. I'm sure it's 10,020. Let me see if okay, here we go.
It's got to be $20. Got to be.
I was actually think they might charge more this time. Let's see here.
Oh, if they keep charging more, I don't know if I would even.
Yeah, that would get frustrating if they start. 20 bucks, 10,000 editions, 186 first available mint. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. It's not the best looking. Yeah, it's the Gray Hulk. So it's not the best looking secret rare. I still want it. I'll still flip it.
I mean, that's the original Hulk, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the original Hulk. He was gray.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so, it's. I mean, I've said it again for a while. Hulk #1.
Right.
Captain America #1. Outside those two comics, what are we waiting on? Actually, I think first appearance of Wolverine, though.
I mean,
is that a big comic?
Yeah, that would be a big one to have too.
That's a big comic. I'd probably even go for that one.
See if I can.
Yeah, so no wait list. So I'll probably grab one.
Yeah, I'm going to try to grab as many as I can. I think if you get that, that's going to be a winner. Don't you think so? I think it's going to sell for a lot. I don't know how much. I'm going to have to go back and look.
Hey, by the way, when you tweet that you're going out live, you should probably put the damn stream link in there.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Hold on a second.
I don't.
Yeah, well, you know what? I just did it real quick because I basically just went live and said, screw it.
I mean, hey, still hit double digits.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up the. Hold on.
Oh, at 12 in the building.
Yeah.
Hit that like button, chat. Oh, I didn't hit the like button.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It's
a lot of extra work. That's a few extra inches I got to move. I don't want to move.
We almost have more viewers than me and Vault on photo finish streams. Come on, let's keep it going.
It's all you, buddy. Let's see. Why am I not pulling up? Should be. Here we go. This is what I wanted to get. I didn't want to dox myself. There we go. All right. So here's what we got. So there's the original cover. So yeah, gray. I mean, this is going to be worth a good amount of money. I couldn't tell you how much, but if you get 1962, which I'll be looking for, Casey BMW is going to steal it from me, but that's going to be worth a lot.
I think floor on commons will be
25, 20, 35.
Yeah, I'll say 25, 27-ish.
Sounds about right. The uncommons have actually been going for more lately.
I know, which is nice because I have so many uncommons.
Right? It's all because of my collectibles, like collecting them all. He's telling everyone to buy them.
I mean, again, I kind of talked about this. Actually, this was probably before I was even doing anything with Vault. But it was probably just in chat where nobody even freaking gave a shit. But I was always saying back in the day, like, if I was creating a space and I wanted to create like a VBverse augmented reality world to hang out in, it would be nothing but the black and white uncommon covers, just like plastered on the walls. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a black and white reality type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Rainy, Neo Tokyo type street environment. Just tons of black and white comics plastered on the wall. Right? I don't know. So especially when it's the original variant. I don't really think the same when I look at the like when the rare and ultra rare or whatever are similar.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like that,
I don't really care for. Like that, I think is just lazy.
That's late. I was just gonna say that's freaking lazy. I mean,
but I do like the original variant having, the black and white like that.
Now, if they did what DC did, because I think you're right and Vault is right, it is cool when it's a little messed up.
When it's beat up, it's character, man.
Dude,
it's character.
Imagine this. What if they release and this will be on DC. What if they release the Action Comic #1, the rocket one, which is the one where the kid put a stamp on it of a rocket, and that was like the legendary or something like that. That would be amazing.
If they did a 1-of-1.
Oh yeah,
the legendaries,
the rocket edition.
Just did a 1-of-1 rocket edition. Holy shit! I think it would be worth like freaking $100,000.
Right, exactly. Right. I mean, this looks good. Ultra rare. This should probably be around 50. Not, I'm not a professional, entertainment purposes only. And yeah, oh my God, if I could hit this, Big A. I've actually gotten 3 secret rares in my life. I don't think I'm getting any more. I think I won the big one. So hopefully you get this. But man, I would love to get this secret rare. I've
never gotten a secret rare on VV.
This is I'm probably wrong, but it's probably 1,000 plus. Because if you look at Journey into the Mystery right now, it's at like 1,300. This is going to be big. The Hulk, everyone knows the Hulk.
I think this is going higher than Journey into Mystery.
2, so about 2, maybe 2,500.
I see the secret rare. I see the secret rare at about 1,750.
Yeah, there's only 250 of them. So I mean, it could do more. Maybe.
What was the count on Journey into Mystery?
I think it was the same. I think it was the same.
Yeah, it was 10K drop, right?
Yeah, 10K drop, 250. Yeah, I mean, I would love that. Oh man, I should just use this.
Plus, I just think right now, I think the sentiment right now, as opposed to when Journey into Mystery even came out, I think the sentiment's better. Yeah, I got a logo Big A, but it don't count. I never got a secret rare on the comic drops, and I've gotten like 98% of the fucking comics over the course of my VB history. I've only landed 2 ultra rares. the werewolf, and then recently I got the Punisher. And even the Punisher, I was like, man, I might just sell this shit for $38. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sell that for $38. It's already back, it's already back up to like, I have like 70 something. I think it actually came down to like 68. But then the floor is so thin on that I think it can easily run to like 150, you know, with a little bit of a pump.
Little pump. I definitely can tell in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know what you guys think in the chat. This market's not as good. There hasn't been as many good drops. So I think people are, I don't understand all of a sudden, you know, everyone's buying stuff and now they're not, right? Probably just a bunch of scammers and pumpers doing all of that.
Well, no, people were buying shit because we were at the bottom. I'll pull up my screen. I can't really do TA on this site, but if you want to use your imagination, I mean, you could just draw the lines in your head.
Do you want me to pull up your screen?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if I'd dox you here. You ready? All right.
No, I don't really. No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I have everything on my other monitor.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange is right. This is going to get botted to holy hell for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right.
I mean, I can't draw on here. I guess I could do.
You can do the lines, right? You can pick the color, and it will do the.
Well, no, not on here. I mean, if I was on regular trading view, like I know, like crypto and stuff, sure.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Big A's right. They're removing the KYC. You could just go buy. I think that's what they're doing. You can go buy if you want to cash out, though. You got a KYC.
Right.
So that's awesome.
But I mean, no matter where you, I mean, you could always say it's hard to do TA on this now because it's after the fact. But if you were going to use a downward trend on this, you'd probably land somewhere around here-ish, maybe. Again, different time frames too. But either way, I mean, you could tell that most people, when we started getting around here, was at May. Yeah, looking into like early May, middle of May. I mean, people just kind of realized that crypto markets, NFT markets, BB markets, pretty much towards the bottom at this point. I mean, are some things going to go lower? Sure. You know, probably things that just never really had any movement.
Right.
But I think for the most part, most of my stuff at least, I'm pleasantly surprised when I'm looking at shit. I'm like, wow, that's up.
The deal.
That's up.
No, I do it.
Up.
Well, don't you think though that the Star Wars drops that month really helped? Because I feel like people made money off of this, right? So if you start making money off of it, you've got some money to play with, and now that's all gone. That's I think you're right. But I also think it's a little bit of I haven't been making much money. I don't have as much to play with. Like tomorrow should pump the market, right? If people can get some money, that should put some money back into the system.
Yeah, like I said, it's just hard to. It's just every market I look at. If I go back and just try to find the bottoms, it's just weird that they all kind of align.
Right. I mean, they're coming around at the same time. I mean, the stock market is doing pretty well right now, but I just don't believe it correlates that much.
Well, because we can't get any lower.
Well, I disagree. I said this a while back. I think partner statue is around 1,000. I think the rest of the gold.
I'm not talking about crypto. I'm talking about stock markets. I'm saying with the
stock market. Yeah.
For the future of this country, the government, and the reason why they'll start making deals and they'll start coming to agreements on shit is because we can't afford for this country to get any more out of whack, man. Like, and whether it's a stimulus or some shit that people started giving out again, and where'd the stimulus go last time? Anybody remember?
Well,
right to crypto, right to NFTs.
Right. See what they
was
need
sitting
to
home
do
during a pandemic, collecting freaking paychecks, and everyone was like, "Whoa, the metaverse sounds like a great place."
Well, here's the thing. I have no problem if you want to give a stimulus check, but make it a stimulus, right? Give them a debit card. You have to use this to buy, off Amazon or food or whatever. Like you can't. I don't think you should be using it to invest. It should be to stimulate our economy, right? So go out and buy something. Go buy some clothes. Go buy this or that. It shouldn't be used as an investment. They should have forced our hands on what we could spend it on.
Well, that's why we're moving to a digital dollar.
Don't get into that.
Then they can't control exactly what you're talking about. Like, you think you're going to put that money into Coinbase, little Billy? Yeah, I don't think so, because Coinbase is on a blacklist here. You're not allowed to transfer our government stimulus money to that account. Like, it's never going to make its way there. Like, they will have that control. But what I think really happened was they missed the mark, because most of the people in in politics are so freaking old that they were like, well, we'll just simulate the economy and they'll go out and buy milk and bread. Nope. Because the people that they were giving money to, these young ass crazy people who were quiet quitting and doing all this weird shit to, collect paychecks, right? Like, those people were just not doing what everybody thought they were going to do. Because again, this young mindset is not about putting money back into the country. It's not about putting money back into their local town. They don't give a shit about any of that. They care about themselves. They care about their little groups online, and and with COVID, I mean, we pretty much accelerated isolation, especially here in this country. I mean, that Apple presentation for the the Apple Vision was really scary when you think about it, because there was not a single group of people in that whole video. I think there was one scene.
Yeah, there's
where,
one scene where she's
came
talking
into
to
the room.
somebody. They're like, "Hey, you can go talk to them and look like a total dork, but you can still talk to them." Yeah, I saw that.
Right, but how sad is that, right? Like that's such like a dystopian type of pessimistic outlook where it's like, we're just gonna live in a world where nobody's around until you put on your little headset, right? And now you're in this world of the metaverse and the VBverse, or whatever the hell you want to live in, Webverse.
right.
You know what I'm saying though? Like, does that make sense? Like, it's scary that, especially for someone like us, maybe for people like us, 30, 40 years old, where it's like, man, like even now I'm sitting home today and I'm bored as shit, dude. It's beautiful outside.
I know, right?
I want to hop in the car. I want to go down to the beach. I want to go grab my acoustic and just go play some music down by the water.
Right.
But yet, I do that, and it's like I'm going outside to deal with crazy ass people. It's like head on a swivel. This world is freaking falling apart around us. Or it's isolation. It's you walk around and there's nobody around. Like, there's just nobody to talk to. There's nobody to do anything with, right? Because like I said, bro, COVID really just drove people to isolation. And now, like, they're used to it.
Yeah, we're used to it. By the way, hello, Captain Obvious. Thanks for dropping by. No electricity. Was that from the tornado? I think she was in.
Oh, shit. She was in
a tornado. I think everyone was okay. I think I asked her that. But anyways, hopefully everything's okay. That sucks about the electricity. I actually was in Florida during a hurricane, and I had no electricity for 3 days. And then I bought a generator, and I never used it for I still have it in the box. Never again did I need it. So that was awesome. But yeah, as far as the, I don't know where all this stuff is going with this cryptocurrency and NFTs. I just hope it's a good place and I can make some money off of it. And have
I mean, you're going to be able to listen. If you just stay on top of the current trends, you'll always be able to make money off it. It doesn't matter if it's freaking, Beanie Babies, slap bands, or I mean, shit. I know Vault's been getting back into the eBay stuff, right? Like, look at his tweet. Like, my uncle does this again too, and I help him out with like templates and stuff for his eBay store, right? Like, and we used to do this as a company or as a business, and we even pitched a show to Discovery Channel back in the day, probably like 15 years ago, and it was called "If It's Free, It's for Me." And it was me and my uncle, because what we would do is we check Craigslist and you go to the free area.
Yes.
And it's like throwing away
put it out on
the elliptical machine. And well, all right, as long as we have the truck and the manpower to get it, we have the computer power and the manpower to research it and list it, we get shit for free and flip it for 200. You know what I'm saying? So like, listen, if you're aware and you pay attention and you enjoy what you do, and you stay on top of the trends, you can make some money doing whatever the hell you want to do in this life,
Right.
The problem is most human beings are programmed at a young age, usually when they leave the house and they go into, most of the time it's preschool, but for people like me, I didn't go to preschool. Like I said, I've talked about this on the show before, where like my dad built an amusement park in my backyard. I had 200 kids at my house from a 6-town radius here on Long Island, New York. I'm talking about roller coasters, wooden roller coasters built by hand that he used to drag up and down the track with, 3-4 kids in the cart, carnival games, tree houses, zip lines, wrestling rings, American Gladiator events. You freaking name it. My dad built this shit with his bare hands. All right. And like, that's like the era that we grew up in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for us, like, we appreciate when we see all these, people out there interacting and having a good time. And it's like, what are we really doing nowadays, man? Like, everyone's just sitting on this digital world, like you said, trying to make money, trying to do this. Like, And we got to get back to being happy again, man.
Yeah, we got to get outside.
back.
That money does not make us happy. Like, you need a certain amount so you have the security and your health is good. After that, they found, like, I mean, this was years ago. They said like anything over 80,000. So it's probably up a little bit more, but you weren't any happier. I mean, you can go to other countries where they have no money. They live on boats and have no toilets, and you know, they're freaking happy because they've got families and they get together every week. I think that's important, to be with your family and stuff like that. Yeah, I work from home. Shelby Cobra works from home. So we are isolated. We try to get out. You know, hopefully we avoid some type of mass shooting in a video game. You know, it's crazy times though. Absolutely,
I mean,
crazy.
listen, my girl is huge into like Broadway shows and stuff like that, and I'm always like, you think I'm gonna put myself in a locked room in a theater in this day and age? Like, yo, I'm not scared to live. I've never been. You know, I was raised again from my father, who taught me how to drive when I was 6 years old, man. He would tell me every time we go past certain corners, he'd like, hey, they have a stop sign, but that don't mean they're gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? You have to prepare. You have to expect the unexpected sometimes. Now, again, it doesn't mean live your life in fear and, you know, hide out your entire life. That's not what that means. But what that means is, you know, when you're out there in the summer and some dude's got a freaking trench coat on and things look a little weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is kind of out of the ordinary. You need to be able to pick up on things like that. Like that's, you know, I don't have the book smarts. You know, most teachers always told me I never really applied myself. You know, when I wanted to get through school, I would never pay attention. As a matter of fact, my what was it called? Like earth science in 9th grade.
Right.
This guy, Mr. Brady, he would take me up in front of the class every single day. He'd be like, I want you guys to take a look at Joe, class. He's got his coffee, he's got his egg sandwich, he's got his paper. Guess what he doesn't have? He doesn't have his textbook out. He doesn't have this out. He doesn't have that out. Well, guess what? End of the year, we took our state regents. Guess who got a 98 on the regents? And guess who turned around and walked, because I was the first person to check my score, and I turned around and said, see, I don't need your style of learning, brother. Like, I don't need to do things the way, like, I'm not there to learn your way. I passed the test. I hand in my homework. I take care of business. I do my homework in the homeroom. You know, like that was one of those kids, you know. I never applied myself. I didn't care. But I got by, and I have more street smarts than people will ever even comprehend in this lifetime. Whether it's from my Italian roots with, you know, certain things I won't talk about, you know, whether it's learning from that aspect, right? Like, whether it's just learning from growing up in the 80s and 90s where people were normal human beings. Like, maybe that plays a big part in it, you know. I'm also from New York. You know, if Dr. Strange is still here, I don't talk shit about other states. I'm not saying other people are dumb, but
they're not tell
when people, you can tell when people are from New York, and you can tell when people are from Jersey, because we're wired differently.
Yeah,
we are 100% wired differently here. And it's just a fact.
Guy from New Jersey, I don't know, I was parking wrong and he got really pissed off. I was ready to kick his ass, but I mean, you can tell they're tough guys. I mean, it doesn't matter how big they are, whatever. You guys are tough, and you know.
I mean, I won't beat nobody's ass physically. I mean, even if I was capable of, it's just not how I roll. I'm not a very physically violent guy.
Well, you shouldn't be fighting.
I have a very sharp tongue, and I've, you know, my girl likes to tell me all the time, she's like, you gotta be real careful when you kind of like start lashing into people, because like it'll make people just feel a certain way. She's like, you're away with words, so you know, it's one of those things where you know I don't really.
Funny.
Well, sometimes, but it could also, if people don't think I'm funny and people don't like me, it could also have a very different negative reaction too. So.
Oh, totally.
But you know, like I said, man, we're all just human beings, man, trying to make it through this crazy game called life. And that's why I don't like when people attack each other. Like, I'll debate people, I'll argue with people all day. Like, I don't care, but I'll never attack people. Like, that's not
right.
I don't really think that's right to do anywhere in this world. NFT space, real world, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think, like, when I went against Randy, I wasn't trying to attack him too much, but once we had a little chat conversation, I mean, I didn't 100% still agree with him, but yeah, I mean, most people are good in this space. There's some people I don't like, but there's no reason to really get after people. We're all here for the same reason, right? Just trying to get by. And the good news is in a billion years, we'll all be dead and probably won't even be humans anymore. So, and there won't be these NFTs, right? They'll be burned up. So,
well, I mean, and that's the kicker. I mean, shout out to the fridge. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, right.
you know, and like I said, but again, I have no hate in my heart for anybody. Like I don't have time in my life for hate these days, man. Like,
Right.
but yeah, I think it's funny that people listen to a dude who sings in front of a refrigerator sometimes. Like I do think that's kind of comical that people will base their entire financial future on
That's what worries
people like
me.
that.
Yeah,
You know,
that totally worries me.
and if people don't like the fact that I'll put a refrigerator in my background with a Loki alligator, like it is what it is. You know what I
Too
mean?
bad.
Like it's fine.
Yeah, I
But
think that's
it's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. And I think in this space, and I've talked about this before, even after Randy did what he did, I mean, that's why you hear in my videos, I'm always like, only spend the amount of money you can afford to lose, because it's like there are people out there that are desperate, are listening, trying to get that information. And honestly, at best, we're making educated guesses, right? That's what I try to do, but it's a guess. I have no freaking clue what's going to happen. I mean, like on the Hulk drop, I'm pretty sure it's going to make money. There's no guarantee, right? So we got to be careful with all these creators that, or pumping our stuff. You got to be careful with that.
Right. But there's a difference. And again, I just don't know. Maybe it's I'm not cut from this cloth that other people are, especially, the crypto bro, late teen, early 20, demographic. Because I don't understand those people at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everything that comes out of their mouths is like anti-establishment, like they just want to, they just want to close everything, right? Like everything needs to be open source and everything needs to be this, and artists don't deserve to get paid. And, if I want to rip something off, I'm going to rip it off. Like, no, man, like that's not the way this world works. And the pendulum will swing back the other direction at some point.
Right.
And I don't think we'll ever swing back into a fully racist country. And even as a white guy, I hope we don't, because I wasn't raised a sea color.
Yeah,
I wasn't raised a sea color. Like you're either an asshole or I like you. Like I don't really care the color of your skin. I don't care where you come from.
It literally makes no sense. Yeah,
if I meet you and you're a cool person, we're gonna be friends. If I meet you and you're an asshole and we don't see eye to eye and we just can't be in the same room, then skin color is going to be the last thing on my freaking list.
Exactly.
But the pendulum will swing back the other way, where I think we're already kind of starting to see it. Where trying to think of how much of a rant I really want to go on with that. Let's just say we could kick back the pendulum a little bit, where it's like we could laugh again. We could all afford to maybe sit back and laugh a little bit.
Here's the thing. I think, and not to get into politics, the reality is what doesn't matter what side you're on. Most people want what's good for us. And I think whatever side we're on, sometimes we just hate the other side so much. And that's the part that drives me nuts. Like I used to be okay with the other side and vice versa. And now it seems like if you're not me, I hate you. If you don't agree with me, I hate you. And that is just the stupid freaking thing, because everyone has good ideas and everyone has bad ideas. We got to listen to everyone. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. We got to get along. We got to just understand this. It's, just to say, let's put it this way. Politicians are politicians. They don't give a crap about us. It doesn't matter what side they're on. They don't care about us.
Oh, of course.
And so they're just trying to, play us against each other so they can get a win. So I hate that stuff. And that happens, every side, every politician, they're all pretty much scum. So, absolute
power.
No
alternative.
Absolutely. There's no alternative.
I mean, you can.
Right.
I've been saying it for close to a decade now, probably during the Obama administration. I was like, man, we might see a third party enter the fray here soon. And I know that there's always tried to be third parties that come in, but I think the Andrew Wang guy could potentially, with the Forward Party, could be like the first step in actually trying to create something that's different. And again, because it's not, it can't just be all about, well, you're not my party, I hate you type of deal. Exactly. Right. Obviously, it's all theater, right? Exactly. So
theater, yeah.
Because again, it doesn't matter if it's politics. It doesn't matter if it's anything going on in my life. If you can't give me an explanation, I don't have to agree with your explanation. But if you tell me that you hate something and you're like, listen, I sat down and I read all these research papers and I watched this debate and I watched this video and this is what it means to me and I just don't respect it and I don't agree with it, I cannot say anything against that.
Right.
But if you're going to start making shit up, pulling things out of your ass and being like, well, you just, because everybody likes to generalize everything. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Exactly. Right.
well, you just know how Democrats are, bro. It's like, well, there's different types of Democrats. I mean, you
Right.
got, you know what I mean? Like, you got your AOCs,
Absolutely.
you got your Bidens, you got your Gavin Newsoms. Like, you can go all sorts of different ways on the spectrum when it comes to Democrats. You can do the same thing when it comes to Republicans.
Absolutely.
That's why we have the whole MAGA thing, right? Like, and what people don't realize is that, you know, the whole Trump and DeSantis thing is bad for the entire Republican Party. It's not just bad for one or the other, because now you're creating more divide. And if Trump decided to run independent, then that pulls a lot of Republican Party, you know, members over there and so forth, right? But my point
Right.
is, what a lot of people don't even know, and I'm sure everybody will chat, be like, "Oh, of course I knew that."
Right.
Was that it was not the Republicans versus the Democrats early on in American history. It was the Federalists versus the Republicans/Democrats. They were together, and they realized that their core values didn't align, and the Federalists were crazy, and they needed some reform, and that's what happened. And then over the course of the years, you started seeing more voting power go into or away from Federalists, and then eventually we got the two-party system, right? Like that's
Right.
how it came to be. But you know that this modern generation likes to pass blame, right? Well, see, I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase "kicking the can," right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How many generations can you kick the can before you run out of road? And that's the question I
Right,
ask people
right.
every single time, because I feel like we've pushed it through so many different types of, you know, political regimes at this point in my lifetime alone,
Right.
that how long before we run out of room? You can't just say, well, my parents ruined this country or my parents ruined this earth because they were using oil. So how are we
Right.
going to fix it? We're going to drill lithium, you know, we're going to drill lithium ion, right? And we're going to change the way this world relies on energy. But what they don't realize is that they're just kicking the can because their kids and their kids are going to be coming after them for all the strip mining and all the lithium ion, you know, damage that did to the
Yeah.
environment.
What about
Where these lithium ion batteries
yeah,
going to go?
the
Where are these batteries
landfills?
going to go if they can't be
Exactly.
recharged, right?
That's exactly right.
Like we live in a
It's
world
not
where
a
people
fix.
tell you, well, they have recharging plants now, and it's true, they do. But they can't handle the demand for all the lithium ion batteries that are dying. So
Right.
where are they going to go? They're not just going to sit around at some freaking factory because that's a health hazard too. You
Right.
know what I mean? But the whole point is like there has to be rational thought and common sense. Matthew McConaughey, love him, like him, hate him, whatever people think about him. He is one of the most fascinating people to me. And I read his book, Green Light, and the one message he sends to everybody, he's like, you're so busy fighting on the left, and you're so busy screaming on the right. I'm
Right.
chilling in the middle. Come meet me in the middle. I'm in the middle of the road. Let's have a conversation, right? Like, I don't ever want to debate people. I don't ever want to sit here and try to convince people that my way is the correct way. But we can always have a conversation. And that's, you know, from someone like him, you know, in the public eye. I think he's going to like run for governor or something in Texas.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever,
thought
but,
I
like,
heard. Yeah, something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right.
All right. All right. All right.
What's that joke actually about when it said his book? He's like, someone told Matthew McConaughey told me we're going to write a book and it's called All Right.
I remember.
All right. Yeah.
I saw. You remember? What was it? Unsolved Mysteries. You remember that show? He was on an episode of that, like just playing a bit part in 1989 or 1988. I remember that. And didn't he live? He lived in a trailer for a while, if I'm correct, if I remember. I don't know if he talked about that in his book.
Kind of, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he seems more like a down to earth guy. And the thing is we really have to just like each other. I want to go back to the days where I hated some of the ideas, not the person, right? Like, oh, that's a dumb idea. And they're like, that's a stupid idea too. I want to get back to those days, right? This idea of hating each other. Oh, it drives me freaking nuts.
I just want people to hate each other with valid reasons. That's
right,
all.
Or that too. Right?
I want you to be like, yo, I can't stand BE. When they're like, why can't you stand? He had sex with my woman. Like, he came after me and, you know, robbed my shit, or like real valid reasons for me to punch you in the face. I don't want people to be like, yo, why don't you like BE? Yo, man, this guy liked to tweet. You know, he liked to tweet that I didn't really care for, you know, like.
Right.
Like, oh my God.
A reason. He said something, you know, I agree. Not just this made up stuff. or my
Yeah,
team has to win. It's my team has to win, and if I don't win, I'm losing. And that's such, you can't even negotiate when you're like that. If I don't win, then forget it.
well, sports is a perfect example, and I think sports is like, and I know a lot of kids these days nowadays don't even really like sports, and again, we can get into that discussion too, because again, I watch a lot of debates. I read a lot of research papers. I like to educate myself in my downtime. Usually when I'm waiting for things to render or whatever, like I have time to kill. So let me watch something. Let me read something, right? Because if I have conversations with people, I don't want to be pulling things out of my ass. Like you guys will notice, I'll talk about a lot of stuff. But there's a lot of times where there's just things I don't know about, and I don't open my mouth, and I might just make a funny comment, and I'll just be like, "Hey, listen, this isn't really my forte. It's not really what what I research on. So I'll make a funny joke and we'll move on, right?" But I do spend a lot of time, researching and reading, and like I said, man, when we were younger, you walk into an elementary school. Well, first of all, back then you probably could walk into an elementary school,
without
and be
worries.
normal. Nowadays, you'll probably get freaking tackled.
For sure.
Which rightfully so, though. You should. But again, you talk to these kids and you talk to anybody middle school, whatever. What do you want to be when you get older? In our day and age, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a police officer. I want to join the military. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a movie star. I want to be a singer. I want to play guitar. My dad was in a band. I want to be in a band, right?
Right.
Man, you ask these kids nowadays, and again, there's things on YouTube with really big YouTubers and content creators going around asking these kids these questions. And they're all saying the same shit. 9 out of 10.
Freaking
TikToker, YouTube, content creator. Well, this world's going to be in a world of hurt. You know what I'm saying? When we need a doctor and we need people.
Right.
Because what are they going to do? They're going to go trust these people on social media about vaccines and medicine and, current events. I mean, that's kind of what we do already anyway.
Right, right.
And that's crazy to me, man. Like, that's absolutely crazy to me.
It's crazy, and it's so true. I mean, my son's like that. Oh, I want to be a YouTuber or a basketball player or a singer. I'm like, man,
Does he have a valid backup plan, though? Like, because you're a reasonable, down-to-earth parent.
Yeah, no. I'm like, you realize that it takes a lot. Like, if you're not doing this all day, singing, basketball, if you're not practicing 3-4 hours a day, you're just not even going to stand a chance. And even then, you probably don't stand a chance. He's like, well, okay, I'll go into business. I'm an entrepreneur. I like that he can follow me. I can help him do it. You're the same way. You don't like working for the man. I don't like working for the man. So I'm sure he'll do something different than most. But singing, YouTuber. I mean, look, I'm trying to do YouTube, and maybe I'll get monetized, make a lot of money, but I'm not going to make a lot of money, make a little money. I don't think you can make it rich. Most people are not going to make it rich off of YouTube. Or
not
you
in
can make a living.
I mean, not in this space. I mean, I don't think the space is big enough, and that's why,
right.
I could pull 30, 35 viewers on Kick for photo finish with new players that have come in over the past 2 months of me being there. And I mean, me and Vault have never seen a new player walking off the street. And that's a guy with how many followers on a YouTube platform.
Right.
And we've never had a new player come in. Ever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just not designed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not designed for it. It's designed for the Fortnite players. It's designed for the gamers. It's designed for those people. Well, it's also designed for, hot tub time machine. Hot tub streamers, stuff like that. Because that's a big thing nowadays. Like, basically, if you want to be famous on the internet, you can just have tits. Have a hot tub, put a mirror behind you. Because you're not allowed to technically show your ass and feet on Twitch, like in a sexual manner.
But you can just stand up with a mirror in the background.
If you have a full-length mirror behind you, showing your ass and feet, it's allowed.
It's okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
everyone's pushing the boundary on that for sure.
Right.
I've seen other weird stuff like that too.
Now again, this isn't me just making shit up. You just look at the stats on Twitch and even, Kick, I guess, because YouTube doesn't allow it. Like, YouTube just doesn't allow it. Like, it's not their platform. They've said it since day one. You want to do that shit? It used to be go to OnlyFans. It used to be go to OnlyFans, go to Fansly, right? Now it's like, well, go to Twitch and do that stuff, or go to Kick, right? Like, it's the wild west. But it's crazy, man. Like, and the type of content that if these kids were like, I want to make content, and they were like, I want to make, you know, training videos on how to be the best coder you could be, or I want to make motivational videos on like, my journey in a game from like level 1 to level 100, right? Like a
Right.
journey, an adventure, right? Like that type of content's cool. But guess what? That's not the type of content that these young people are even making.
No, not at all.
I don't know if you saw this happen last night. BB Rexa, the singer,
Right.
got whaled in the face with
I
an
heard about
iPhone.
that. Yes, I heard
Okay,
about
got whaled in the face with an iPhone, and I found an article from when the dude got released. I hate when they even like publicize these assholes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, with their names and stuff. Like, don't give them any publicity for this shit. Like,
Right.
be like low life piece of shit who couldn't, contain themselves for a BB Rexa concert. Launched phone at singer. But
It's
instead, they
ridiculous.
name them, they give them credit because there's no such thing as bad publicity, and
Right.
people freaking know that. Okay, my father taught me two things from music and his entertainment background. Right, like you only need a handful of people in this world to really make it. Which is why I think you discount when you say, well, I can make a living, but I can't be rich. You don't need as many people as you think. You just need a handful of people out of this world population to really make something of yourself. Okay, that's first and foremost. And second is, well, I guess there was a few, but
Right.
it was his whole day was be nice to the people you meet on the way up because you're gonna meet the same motherfuckers on the way down.
Right. That's exactly
Like,
right.
don't be all high and mighty when you're making money and everything, because you're gonna hit that plateau, and then that bottom's gonna come out, and you're gonna start riding your way down. Some people might even say Cavell Anderson is like that. I don't agree, especially after talking with Cavell. I just think Cavell was very misunderstood, to be honest.
I think so too.
I think that he is a very well-spoken, well-educated person when it comes to things that he wants to learn about. Again, maybe
Right.
similar to me, where he just has no problem saying that this is how I feel. And if you want to call me out for this and you want to try to, rake me over the coals for this 6 months from now, then so be it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he's,
Well, with him and all the OMI and what it's going to be worth. Look, again, we were all trying to make educated guesses using the information we had at the time, or even now using the information we have now. We're not always going to get it right, which is why you got to take anything any creators or anyone says about this stuff with a grain of salt. But yeah, he knew a lot of stuff. Again, he was one of the first people I saw. I saw him before Vault. It was interesting to listen to him. I think now people give him crap because we're not getting, OMI's not at $10 and all the whatever. Okay. I mean, predictions. We can't all get our predictions right. It's just, people got to be a little bit nicer with everyone. Stop trying to take everyone down.
I'll ask you a question. If I say to you, I mean, I guess just subjective maybe. If I say to you, give me your best rags to riches story of a person, who's the first person that pops to mind for you?
Rags to riches. Ooh. Ross Perot.
Did it on their own, no help.
Ross Perot.
Okay, I'll buy that. I'm gonna say Mark Cuban. It's always Mark Cuban to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's
the garbage bag to Mavericks owner deal, right? Like,
yeah, billionaire. Yeah,
right. And his thing, and this is what I'm saying. There's very few people I care what they think about in this world. I don't listen to anybody. Everything that somebody says is being added to my database of knowledge and my information. It's not pre-programming how I feel ever. That's just how I'm designed. Okay. So when people start talking, like Mark Cuban, he's like, listen, you follow the money. Smart money makes money. You follow the money.
Right.
There's no bigger money in this world than Disney, than Marvel, than Nike, than Sony, than Microsoft. Okay, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Than DC. Like, there's no bigger money on the face of the planet than those companies. And it just so happens that all those companies I just mentioned happen to have some role in me and you and our relationship and most of the things that we do on a daily basis.
Right.
Okay?
Totally.
So you follow the money. Now, a year and a half ago, when I'm sitting there telling my boy Ricky, who is our age, not very tech savvy, I have to do everything for him. I just set him up with an account yesterday, actually, with his cable provider so he can watch like on-the-go TV channels.
Oh, my Lord.
And I was like, while I'm here, though, I want to make myself an ID so I can get access to these shows, too,
Yeah, totally right.
Well, I think it's something out of it. But, Of course, why not?
Yeah.
But again, he's not a very tech savvy guy. So when I'm sitting here talking to him and he's like, "So what's up with this Nike stuff? Like, what's up with this VV? What's up with this?" And I'm talking to him and he's like, "Dude, don't give a shit." He's like, "You know what?" He's like, "When it comes time to, put some money away, maybe like in a horse or a track ownership or something like that." He's like, "I know people historically want to be degenerate gamblers. So if I could put money into something like that, he will, you know?"
Right.
But he can't be bothered with logging into VV, doing the drops. Like, that's just too technologically advanced for him, I guess, right? So
a lot
he
of people
doesn't
don't
do
even
it.
want to do it. A lot of people just don't even want to deal with that crap or deal with these drops and missing it, and just pisses you off.
Right, but for people like us, we understand that, we talked about it earlier, people like to brag,
Right.
right? Like, put me in a room of more than 3 to 5 people, and I guarantee that I'm not the one talking the most. I can usually guarantee that. You know what I'm saying? But then other people know. But then other people will tell you, Mo, you can go into a room, or Joe. They're like, you could walk into a room and you can completely take it over if given the opportunity.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Because you got a lot of good stories. That's the thing.
Well, that's usually what it is. I am the storyteller type of guy, but
and you're funny. But
I like to think so.
No,
Well, listen, I've been with my girl for almost 12 years. I've not put a ring on her finger. So most people will tell you that I'm either well hung or hilarious.
Right.
Because I don't have a good job. It's usually that's, people are like, well, you probably have a good job. No, I don't. I don't make that good money. I don't have a good future. I have a lot of things that are up in the air.
Yeah,
Come
but
on,
you
sell me
do.
this pen.
We've talked about this. Some of it's just, you just like to do your own thing. Like, you could be programming and doing all this stuff for other people, making a tremendous amount of money, but you don't want to be locked down. So I get it. And again, money isn't everything. If you're happy and you can make your music and all of that stuff, can you play your music? Can you play us a song? Can you play it on your end?
Does it play my sound through here? I don't even know.
I don't know. Let's see if it does. Yeah, Mo has some really good music. It's I'm gonna start using it. Let's see if it comes through. I thought I heard it. No, maybe not. No, I don't hear you now.
Hello?
Yeah, now I hear you. So I guess it doesn't.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, I don't. Is there a setting? Hold on a second. I think there's a setting.
I'm looking on my side. Recording audio. Yeah, maybe you can add it on your audio setting. It'd just be nice for people to hear. Yeah, Mo has it on Spotify. In fact, Mo, if you want to add that link, if you want to add the link to the chat, throw that in there. It's good stuff.
I probably can't post links.
Oh, it won't let you do it.
If you just go to my Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's the first
pinned.
thing.
It's
the
pinned.
First thing, yeah.
Still can't believe I broke 1,000 because I don't really care. I've always been like behind the scenes. I didn't really care about my own brand, my own stuff. But I was like, man, I got 1,000 followers now on Twitter. Yeah, it's my pinned tweet. It's on all major streaming services.
I'm seeing if I can pull.
Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube. But I have a whole bunch of unreleased. Well, I have a second album coming out. I typically have this thing around Father's Day because my dad's birthday and Father's Day are around the same time. I typically fall into like this weird mindset, and music is my therapy. So
it's all.
I typically find myself recording this time of year. But my second album, titled 81, after the year I was born, I'm gonna be dropping that probably in like another couple weeks. I have like 2 more tracks I want to finish, but it's like a we talked about this in DMs a little bit.
Right.
It's basically a soundtrack. So basically, the first track is me coming into this world, and the last track is me going out. The track is called AD, After Death, and it's just life soundtrack, man.
So here it is. Which song should we play? I guess I can play it in the background while we talk. Which song should I do here?
I mean, Clock Tower is pretty raw. That's just the new one I'm working on.
Yeah, that one I like. That was the Let me see if I can turn it down. Let's see.
You were like the third person that like, damn, there's a lot of emotion in that song.
There is. There really is. Let's see if this. That. Can you guys hear it?
They should be able to hear that.
You guys hear that in the chat? Music.
I've already added so much to the intro of this song, actually.
This is a good song. Now, do you have a drum machine, I guess?
I can show you my setup.
Let me put you.
I just put it in the box. Fine.
Turn that down. Now talk for a second. I can't have the volume up high and hear you. You want me to add your stream?
No, it doesn't matter. Wow, I really got to clean that up. That was an old mix. But
I'm gonna pause it for a second so I can hear you. I got to figure this out so I can play stuff and hear you. All right, go ahead and talk.
hello.
Oh yeah, they can hear. Everyone can hear.
Yeah, normally you just have to drop the volume in the YouTube or on the website, whatever you're listening to it on.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, and it was taking everything off, but maybe that was just user error. Yeah, I mean, that's a good song, and all the stuff is really good. It's like that. I said when I first heard it, I'm like, man, that sounds like the stuff in Scarface, that type of transition music and stuff like that was in that movie, and a lot of stuff in the 80s.
Yeah, I was born in the 80s, so I mean, obviously,
right, makes sense.
Well, so most kids grew up, stuck in front of a TV. And we didn't have cable in my house until I was like 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't have cable until later.
I mean, I grew up
not 20, but
basically in my dad's studio, smacking around synthesizers. Like, so for instance, this synthesizer right here, right? This is a Repro 5 from UHE, right? We own this in my studio, my dad's studio. We had this actual synthesizer, and I used to just be like, I was young, and I would just be sitting here just smacking shit around, making noise, and just my whole thing was like I used to hold down like all the crazy, synthwave sounds, like the air moving and everything, like the winds, Because the more notes you hold, the more powerful it gets, and oh yeah, man. But yeah, so I mean, we live in a world now, and again, you guys don't hear this obviously, but I don't know if my
I don't hear. I hear you.
Yeah, I know you guys hear me, but anyway, I have a full 61 key MIDI controller in front of me. It's not a full size piano. I don't have room for that. But I normally do play on like an 82 key. But this is a 61 key controller. So I basically sit here and I play classical piano. I'm like self-taught classical pianist.
Nice.
Well, once you learn guitar, they're very similar when it comes to like you learn chords, you learn progressions, you learn scales. I mean,
usually it's if you know piano, you can almost play anything, right? Piano. Usually you go piano to everything, but it makes sense.
True. Outside of drums, maybe.
Yeah, outside of.
But drums, you just gotta have rhythm. Now I can keep a drum beat, but I am definitely not gonna rock the house down on drums.
I got a drum.
I mean, my drums are all pretty basic. So like a lot of I don't think I have any drum tracks on there.
By the way, you'd love my parents' piano. They've got a Steinway and Son from 1925. Like, really, yeah. It's I think it's a baby grand. I think is what they call it. But man, it's nice.
I went to a party at some mansion when I was like early 20s. I think we were actually probably 20 because I don't think we were legal to drink. But we went to some mansion here on the island, right? Some fancy part of the town. And my cousin takes me there, and I'm like chilling. And they had the most beautiful grand piano. And like I said, I've been playing on synthesizers, and I worked at Guitar Center, so I played on some really nice, like,
I'm sure you got
digital pianos. But I never sat down on like a Steinway or like something like really professional, right? And I'm just sitting there talking, you know, with the girl who owned the house and stuff, her family's house, and they just saw me eyeing this piano, and they're like, "Like you play?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, that thing looks like it sounds amazing, right?" And they were like, hey, "Go ahead, more than welcome to play it. You know,
Wow.
like, go ahead, sit down." Dude, I sat down this thing, I just started playing. So, like one of the songs I play is like "November Rain." It's like one
Oh,
of
yeah.
like my favorite songs to play on the piano.
Hmm.
I started sitting down, started playing that, and then like one person came over, and my cousin comes over with a few people, and like you know, they say I turn around, the party stopped.
The whole
The
party was
party
right there.
stopped, and it's everyone just chilling around the piano, and I'm sitting there playing. I think I was playing Mad World.
Oh yeah, oh that's a good one too.
Yeah. Mad World is one of my favorite tracks to play. I mean, one of the songs that I can't like, I'll never play it like in a live setting, but it's like therapy for me. Is Johnny Cash, "My Only Sunshine."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that song. Like if you ever want to, anybody ever wants to break me, just lock me in a room and play that song because you'll watch a grown ass man just fall apart. Like it's insane. Like the memories and the attachment to like my grandmother with
Right.
that song is like who raised me is so freaking strong, and that's why we talked about this. Like music is a soundtrack of life, right? Like
It totally is.
anytime you can put on a song and I can close my eyes and I can vividly paint a picture of like maybe 2, 3, 5, you know, events in my life that took place while that song was playing or, you know, something like that. Like it's so impactful, man. Like music is
It really is.
so crazy.
Like I feel like the best movies, and this is why I like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. I know that's not the greatest movie, but the music, if it's got good music and they place it right,
Yep.
it just changes everything. It makes the movie 100%. Yeah, it looks so you got this whole setup. What is you have? What is it? Pro Tools or whatever? What's the?
I don't use Pro Tools. If you don't listen, again, as someone I worked in Guitar Center, I work with professional musicians on a daily basis. There are very, very few people in this world who have a need for Pro Tools. If you're going out and buying a Mac and you're buying a Digio One controller and you're buying Pro Tools, congratulations, you probably have a lot of money.
Right.
The difference is this isn't the year 2001, okay?
Right.
Back in 2001, you did need to have a Mac and you did need to have Pro Tools because PCs were not capable of doing what musicians wanted to do, okay?
Right.
But in this day and age, as long as you had like your PC, you could easily produce music, easily. You know. So everything that
It is
I
a
do,
big difference these days as far as
yeah,
athletes
as I'm saying,
and
we
stuff,
live in a
yeah.
different world. But for me personally, I had training from Steinberg in New York City. It's a company who does Cubase and Cakewalk. It's like an alternative to Pro Tools.
Okay.
And I did like a 3-day training with them. And ever since, they send me keys to all their VSTs and their programs for free.
Oh wow.
For the past, I took that training in like 2002. It's 2023. I think I got an email like a year ago with updated keys to like some of their VSTs. And the VSTs are what's really important with this type of music because, like this, for instance, is a classic, one of the most popular classic 80s synthesizers, the Tal Uno. And I didn't get this one for free. This isn't from Steinberg. I paid, I think, $75, I think, for this.
And it's an exact replica as far as how it
100% exact replica.
Yeah.
Again,
that's
as someone take it from me, as someone who owned 90% of these synthesizers,
physical. Yeah.
I own the physicals, and I can tell you that they sound note to note identical.
Because that's important, especially if we want to get the sound of the era, right? You got to have some of that
Correct.
equipment.
Yep. Now, there are some that are better than others. Like, there are cheap ones that are called, like, the Sal Tuno, and it's like a ripoff, and it doesn't use the same amount of oscillators. It might not have the same amount of... because the way that 80s music and synthesizers work in general is they use what's called an oscillator.
Right.
Well, an oscillator is like just like a wave. Again, I don't really... You guys can't hear anyway, so even if I played, you wouldn't be able to see this.
Right.
But a lot of these knobs and these buttons, you see the ones I'm clicking on? That'll lighten up here.
Yep.
This is basically saying, okay, we're going to take the wave. An LFO is like the frequency output of how it's going to be like A low LFO will be like a solid note or a hum, like a hum.
Yeah, of
But if
course.
you want to raise the LFO, it goes hum, 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 and starts waving it and starts to create like vibration in like
Oh, that's
a
cool.
range in the sound. You know what I'm saying? Then you got your your power level of the volume, and then you can shape it multiple different ways. You know, you can have it do like it's like a hard shape. You can have like a soft gradual shape, and you can have it like this, which is like crazy. The oscillator will just send it all over the place. But then you start taking these, and you can do all sorts of different things. You can add reverb and start modulating it in different ways, man. You know, and some people might have seen like these old oscillator boards where it's like all these wires and shit plugged in and out from different inputs to outputs, and you basically just create like all these cool sounds, man, like on the fly. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is
Amazing.
really cool. And especially now that, exactly like you said, on the fly, you could take this on a laptop, and where before you couldn't take all that equipment with you, right? Now you can do it anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, again, we had a studio, professional studio at my house, recording studio when I growing up. And yeah, I mean, it was a whole production. If my dad had a band coming over, not only did the band have to show up 3 hours early to set up,
Right.
then you had to do sound check. Then you had to do the recording. God knows how good the band was at, 1 take, 2 take, 3 takes. Sometimes it's 15 hours later and they're still trying to record the freaking bridge on the outro or something.
Oh,
It's like,
wow. Yeah, that's horrible. But
yeah,
it
it's
sounds like a
crazy.
lot of fun. But it sounds like a lot of fun to get to do
Well, it
that.
can be fun, but it's a lot of work, Nowadays, yeah, you can just kind of take a laptop, bring it over, set up,
Yeah, because you don't
set
have
up
to
some
have
microphones and go to
right,
town.
which
You
is
know,
which is really awesome. What are Gus is asking? What are some of your favorite artists?
Who? I mean, synthwave. I don't really listen to a lot of music in general. Power Glove. Power Glove is one of my favorite synthwave groups. Carpenter Brute. Um, sheesh. I mean, I could just tell you that when my music comes on, when my playlists come on YouTube, people are like, "What the hell is wrong with you, dude?"
I don't know
Like,
why.
I have some of the most eclectic musical tastes out there. Because not only am I personable, like I said, when I go places, people be like, "Yeah, Mo's gonna be the MC of the night or whatever."
Right.
If I walk into a party, there's a 90% chance that I'd have to be the DJ. Because people be like, Mo's gonna be playing. Oh, who was it? Who was it in chat? I don't know if it was in VV Arcade's chat like a week ago. They were like, "Yeah, no shot, Mo, freaking Despacito." Yeah, what does this say? Every morning I wake up, this is one of the first songs I listen to. Despacito, Senorita with Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, Sia, Cheap Thrills, Maroon 5, Girls Like You. I love that video. I don't really care for the song, but the video is really good. Dance Monkey, Imagine Dragons. I mean, this is again more of just modern stuff I listen to. But then my playlist goes crazy, man. Like every time
you're
I
not
get
a
in the car,
music snob. That's good. You got a lot
no.
of
I was raised on classic country and heavy metal, man. Like it doesn't get any crazier than going from Patsy Cline to fucking Sepultura.
And I'm not big
it
on
doesn't-
country, but anything live. I've determined anything live always sounds good. That makes a huge difference. I love live music, getting to see it, getting to feel it. But yeah, I was heavy metal, Headbanger, and then like Korn and all that, the stuff in the 90s. But yeah, now I'll listen to pretty much anything.
I would tell you my Korn story with when my pop's in his guitar.
No, let's hear it.
So he had a 67 Telecaster. Most people know about the Defender Stratocaster. What they don't know about is the Telecaster, which is highly sought after these days. It was one of the few things I was actually trying to hope he still had when he passed away. But it turns out he was on bad times, and he must have pawned it.
Oh, no.
It was a 67 Telecaster. He traded a mixer that he built with his bare hands back in like 1970. He traded some guy straight up. The guy was like, "You built that mixer?" My dad was like, "Yeah, I wired the whole thing." He was like, "I'll give you this guitar in the closet." Turned out to be a 67 Telecaster, right? So that's what I grew up learning to play guitar on. And, when I started playing metal, and I started playing in, trying out for bands, local bands, I didn't have my own guitar. We didn't have a lot of money in my house. Like money was not, it wasn't really enough
All
to go
over the
around to
place.
pay the bills.
Right.
Then alone, like going out to get me a heavy metal capable guitar, which at the time would have been like a Jackson PS3T, Randy Rhoads Flying V with the shark inlays, and that's actually what I wound up getting. After like another couple years of playing, he saw I was actually taking it serious. He was like, "Yeah, you want a $400 Randy Rhoads? Well, let's take you down, and I'll spend every freaking penny out of my income tax return." And that's what he did. And my dad did that.
That's so cool.
Probably more times than I even know the amount of times he sacrificed. But with his guitar, right? So when I started playing, I stole his guitar like all the time, and I put stickers on it. And I put like a Metallica sticker, and I put a Korn sticker, and I forgot I have maybe like a Slayer or Deicide or something.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Slayer is one of my all-time
Slayer's
favorite
good. I usually
thrash metal bands.
Yep.
Shout to heaven, man. Whew, so good. But yeah, man, like. So, he would take the guitar back and go out and play with his bands and jam sessions or whatever. So he takes the guitar over to his cousins one night and he walks in. Didn't have the guitar in a case, and like they were just sitting down, they're eating dinner. And they look at him and they're like, "Hey, you want some?" They're like, "Oh, hey, you like corn?" My dad was like, Nah, I'm good, man. I just ate." And they look at him and they're like,
what's his
what
problem?
talking about, man? Like, do you even see corn on the table? And again, they were a bunch of stoners, you know what I'm saying? So they were like, there's no corn in sight, man. What are you talking about? But just the way he said it, they were like, "Hey, you like corn?" He was like, "Nah, I'm good, man. I just ate." No idea.
That's funny.
Because he had no idea that I was infesting his guitar with stickers.
Right.
He didn't even look. He had no idea there was stickers on his guitar. He came home and started.
That's funny.
Stickers on my guitar.
Yeah, how could you do that to this beautiful piece of art?
Man, that guitar, dude. I know at the time, and this is again probably going back like late '90s when we kind of started to realize financially we probably had to move out. He was like looking into selling it. I think it was still back then even worth a couple G's.
Wow.
But man, nowadays that guitar, gotta be 10K plus.
Right.
Gotta be.
Right.
I mean, it was
going back and
all
buying those. Yeah, buying the older ones for sure. It's that sound. It's completely different. It was, made by the best people at the time instead of somebody just in a factory.
And not even just a sentimental value of like being the guitar that I learned how to play on.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's why when I found out he pawned it, or at least what they told me. Other half-ass family down in Maryland. Did you? I mean, I was 25 at the time, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'll marry some 24-year-old broad from Maryland," and I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Jesus, man." I'm like, "All right, man, more power to you." But yeah, our family was freaking psychotic, man, and I'm pretty sure they stole that guitar, but I don't.
What are you gonna do now? Really... That sucks. Yeah,
Yeah, how many times you really want to rock the boat? I was like, all right, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is now. Oh, that sucks, though.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're all memories. What we could do. We're not taking anything with us. We gotta take the memories.
Oh, I'm taking my secret rare AF-15 with me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, listen, man, I'll get a little crazy with you right now because I do have to run out here in a little bit.
I was gonna say I gotta go pretty soon here too.
I don't know if people saw the show Upload, but we very well could hit that in a very short period of time where our consciousnesses will be uploaded to some sort of digital realm, and me and you might still be doing the same damn show, except we might actually be well aware that we don't have a human body, and that we'll just be digital, digital personas in a world, And if you ever seen the show though, you should watch the show.
Because I know they're working on stuff like that.
Yeah, watch Upload.
All right.
2 seasons. It's one of the greatest shows ever written.
What was it on, or what is it on now? Is that Netflix?
I want to say it was on Amazon. I think it was an Amazon show. But really well written, great acting, great cast.
I'm just writing this down.
Yeah, Upload, man. I highly, highly recommend that show. But like I said, basically, if you were to take our consciousnesses and move them into a digital type of environment, then maybe when people say, well, you can't take it with you, like, well, you
Maybe
sure
you-
about that? Because my NFT wallet, the same way we're about to log into Fortnite with our
Right.
Nike Swoosh passes,
Oh, totally. I should get pull that.
who
back.
knows? You might be logging into afterlifeverse.com. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
how crazy would that be? Like,
that
yo,
would be
man,
pretty
I
cool.
don't think, you're like, I just found out I'm going to die in like 6 months. So I'm going to go down to Afterlifeverse or us, and I'm going to purchase the lifetime package. And I'm basically just going to say my goodbyes, and they're going to take my consciousness while I'm still alive, and I'm going to peace out. And if you guys want to see me after today, come see me on VB or afterlifeverse.com or some shit.
Right. See,
You know what I'm saying?
right. You'll have it record. And that, that would be nice also for like children and other family members to get to see. Look at this crap. I'm missing all
Do
the
you
stuff.
think that's good for children? Because I actually disagree a little bit.
For them to have access to what a parent said, or I'm just saying, like, if your father dies, your mother dies, and you've got a memory, and maybe you can talk to them and stuff like that.
Yeah, but then how do you actually? I mean, coming from someone who's been coping and trying to get over loss for 6 years,
Right.
like, does it actually help people ever actually learn how to get over shit in life? Right? Like,
I don't
because if
know.
you never lose it, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you just like you might not ever lose your parents because you can digitally install them into a fucking metaverse or whatever for history.
Right.
But then you can't do that with your dog, and you lose your dog, and you become suicidal because you don't know how to deal with the grief of losing something because you've never
Right.
experienced it before. You know what I'm saying? Like, you start doing stuff like that, you start like robbing people of like life lessons almost.
Right.
You
Or
know?
how to enjoy life, right? Because some of it
Or
is
how to
about
enjoy life.
pain,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're not having pain, you're never, it's too easy, which is true.
Well, someone told me that you never get over shit. I think I start to agree with that more and more. Like, you never actually get over the loss of anything. You just learn how to live with it. Like,
Yeah,
you
learn
never
how to
actually
live
get
with
over it.
Totally.
So for me, that's always kind of been, what got me through like any losses I've suffered.
To actually have to, confront it and deal with it, all of that stuff.
I was lucky growing up. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I was lucky, man. Like, nobody close to me died. Nobody in my family for like 20 something years, man. It was crazy. And I always said, I'm like, don't let it be my grandmother that raised me. Go first. And sure as shit, man, she was the first person that died on me in my lifetime. And I had to go through the funeral and the losing, and it was like, I heard it in the other room when she had the heart attack. It was crazy, man. Like, I've always said it. I always said, I'm like, yo, please, God, like, if you're up there, man, if you're listening, like, please, like, condition me with something that's like smaller for me to like digest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess maybe you could say like a pet, like a cat. Maybe I lost a cat, and that kind of like helped me, kind of get over it. But like, man, when it was a family member, I'm like, holy shit.
I
and
was
like
14.
from that,
Yeah, once you learn,
Yeah.
I was 14, I lost my great grandmother.
yeah,
And then 4 years later, I lost my grandfather. And then there was nothing for like 20 more years. They all live, my family lives pretty long. They live into their 90s. So I was lucky. Not the men though. But yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard. And you're right. You do need to learn how to deal with it. But I think after you've gone through all that depression, then maybe you go back, and it's like when people used to watch videos of their parents, right? You go back and watch old videos. Here's something where you could interact with them. It's obviously not completely real, but it's a part of them, which I think might be cool, but I don't know.
Well, I think that would be cool as long as, like I said, if there was something in place. Because people always want to find an escape, especially when they're hurting.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like, my escape is weed, video games, although not anymore. I haven't gamed. I've been playing a little bit of Diablo, but I got so bored with it every time I loaded in. I was like,
Yeah,
it's not a gamer anymore. Like, gamers suck. Games suck. They're rinse and repeat, recycled bullshit year in, year out. Don't really care about gaming these days. But I don't know, man. Like, people like to escape. And I feel like if they lost somebody close to them and they had the ability to just constantly join that person in like some sort of digital realm whenever they wanted to, that would probably be more detrimental to them than actually having to go through the grief and like the different, stages of recovery, right? To like
Right,
get
I
over
guess
losing
you're
somebody.
right. Yeah.
So maybe like you lose somebody, and then maybe like a year later, whatever package that parent had, like, okay, it's been a year, you've had your chance, you know what I'm saying? You've kind of like, you've come to terms with it, you understand that your parent is gone. And now we're going to open up this, box of memories, this Pandora's box of like
Right.
ways for you to like come visit. And maybe your parents are the one that set it up and like, hey, listen, I only want this available one day a year. Like,
Right.
my birthday or like some sort of momentous occasion, right? Like, I just feel like, man, if we move everything into a freaking, digital world of people, like, there's gonna be people who just get, like, you see it all the time, right?
They
Like,
get completely depressed actually if they.
well, it is depressing, but I'm saying, how
Right.
many times do you see like a husband or a wife go, and then 3 months later or 6 months later, the other spouse goes, even if there's something wrong with them sometimes.
Right. It's just a broken
They
heart. Right?
lost.
Yeah.
Like they're so lost, man. Like, they
It
like
happens
they just
all the time.
yeah, it happens all
So
the
true.
time, and it's like it's healthy people sometimes too. It's not always people with like underlying medical conditions.
Yeah. It just
It's crazy, man. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I think flipping it full circle, if
'cause I
given
gotta
the
take it.
opportunity to upload my consciousness right before I died for a fee, I would 100% do it.
Oh, I would too. I would absolutely do it. Just, again, you're going to have family that is probably going to want to see it at some point. Maybe your children, maybe a niece or a nephew or other family members. I think it'd be nice. I would do it too. And it's probably better than like freezing yourself, freezing your head and nothing happens from that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because we don't know what our experience really is on this planet and in this journey. Like, we don't know, honestly, what our experience is. And I don't think anybody ever will know. There's people that are like, oh, I feel like I had, another life, and I feel like I've been reincarnated. And,
Yeah.
and I'm sure people have those feelings, and I'm sure people have dreams, and I'm sure people have those interconnections, right? Like, I don't know if I necessarily believe that.
Yeah.
But we also don't know what kind of experience we're having here on this life, right? Like, are we some sort of pawn where we're being controlled in some, unconscious experience here, and there's actually some other life form or some other like experiment going on where like maybe me and you are part of a blockchain, an alien blockchain, where they're just testing out, human life, and me and you are blocks A176 and block Z 4092, and we just happen to overlap and meet each other. Like, we don't know what our experience is. So
yeah,
the one thing I will say though,
yeah, go ahead,
is that when people talk about like energy,
right,
I 100% in all my being believe in that we are energy, and that
absolutely.
that our consciousness is an energy, and that when that energy leaves your body, I do believe there is a transfer there. And I'll tell you this real quick before we do go, for anybody thinks I'm probably crazy or high. The day my grandmother passed, I looked at her and I saw a skeleton standing at the door.
Oh, wow.
I didn't say nothing to nobody. I looked over and I had to like shake my head, and I'm like, how fucking high am I right now? And I was just chilling. And I looked over, and then she was standing at the door because she used to hang out by the front door. She enjoyed the, the birds and everything like that, And I was like, man, that was weird. And I turned off Madden. I was playing Madden in the living room at her house, and I was just like, I got to go do something else. I got to go watch some TV because that just freaked me out.
Yeah, that would freak me out too, right?
And the first thing that pops on TV is how to cope with loss, dealing with the effects of 9/11.
Kidding me? Wow.
And I just got done telling you not too long ago that I've never been, prepared for this, right, with loss. And here I am now watching a show
on how
because it was a few years after 9/11 of like families struggling and stuff like that, right, and coping.
Wow.
And something made me watch this. And again, I've never had to deal with that coping, and I don't know why. Something drew me into this. Just energy was like, you need to be here right now in your life watching this. And then it prepared me for that, right?
It was a great
And then
time,
fast forward to a few years ago. Again, I talked to my dad in Maryland, but the morning that he passed, I was laying in bed because my sleep schedule was so fucked at that time that I'd be going to bed at like 8:30 in the morning.
Oh wow.
And he passed away early in the morning, and I was sitting in my bed, clutching my chest, thinking I was dying at that exact moment,
Oh man.
feeling like I was having a heart attack or I was on my way out. I am 100% convinced that was my dad's energy. You know what I'm saying? That was all his energy, thinking about me, maybe again, whatever. Boom, into me. You know what I'm saying? Like that overlap of energy, man, was like so extreme. That again, I don't have proof of any of this. I could just tell people what I experienced and, whatever. But holy shit, man.
Yeah,
like,
I believe, like they say, energy is neither created nor destroyed. So it's the same thing when you die. It's one reason why I don't want to be cremated, because I feel like you're wasting that energy. I just want to throw me in the ground. I don't need a box. Let everything eat me up or whatever. But yes, I think that energy goes somewhere. My mom swears by stuff that she heard after family members died. So, I mean, it happens a lot, So
yeah, I don't know. People could always take it for what they will. A lot of people could be like, Mo's just fried. I mean, I have tons of
my mom's
studies
not
and
fried.
tests.
Yeah, it happens. There's something. There's even there's some. We'll have to discuss it on other stuff, but there on another stream. But there's quantum physics and all this stuff that can maybe might explain some of this stuff possibly. So we'll definitely hit that another time. I've got to get going because I'm going to get in trouble here. But man, thanks for coming by. I appreciate this. This is fun. Thanks everyone for joining us. We will do it again at some point. We've got some fun stuff I think we're going to be doing in the near future. I've got a wedding this weekend and then a little bit of vacation, and then I'll be back and hit the pavement running. So Mo, thanks for coming by. Everyone, thank you. Appreciate it.
And yes, sir. And it looks like the looks like the Fortnite servers are down. That's hilarious, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm sure everywhere I see Big A was getting on.
Traffic. Holy crap! Because Epic is pretty good with Fortnite, man. Like they don't normally have server issues like that, except when they're doing their season updates. But that's crazy, dude. Yo, if Nike Swoosh traffic is taken down,
good news.
The Epic Games Fortnite login, that is huge, and I am super bullish on that.
I know.
Wow.
Totally. All right.
Well, that was fun, man. Yeah, like I said,
we'll talk about this next time for sure.
This is Skin and Bones, ladies and gentlemen. A little
Skin and
peek.
Bones. Skin and Bones. We got a whole little theme for that, but we'll show you that next time. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.